everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you're all well. We're just going to wait a few more minutes until 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
And then we'll get going. We're just going to wait for everyone to join us. In the interim, I'm Shazia Labrador. I'm your host today. This is Hussein Isuf. He's from Regent. Hussein, would you like to introduce yourself and your team?
No, they know me. I trouble them too much on WhatsApp, so now they can put a face to the voice or to the text. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, welcome to everyone. I'm Hussein Essof. I'm with Regent. My team that's on here is Douglas, Gino, Jason, Kim, and there's a few others that are not on. All of those guys are part of what we call the iLead Lab. Basically, is the technology hub for IR space at Regent, and they're going to play your assistant today. But we'll give more details as soon as we start in the next 2 or 3 minutes, inshallah. I just need a thumbs up or some indication that you guys can hear us.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. We can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. I can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Right, so we're going to keep the mics off. Thanks, FS. I'm assuming Fahima, you can hear us. Thank you, Fahima.
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Shukran. So we're going to make this as interactive as possible. So at some point, we're going to ask you guys to unmute. And if you're comfortable, you can on-camera, show yourself on camera as well. Shazia, one of the comments that we got last week is let people put their hands up and then talk. So maybe we'll try and do that this week because there were multiple people trying to talk at the same time. So if you need to comment at any time, just pick up your hand and we will acknowledge you, and you can then come through. And say what you need to say. The program is tightish. But if everyone is disciplined and works well with Shazia, in particular the facilitator Shazia, then everything should go smoothly, inshallah. Okay. 5 minutes more, Shazia. I don't know how many we've got online. 15 online. We're missing about 10 more. I see Nusaiba and Nafisa. Have you guys joined from another email, Nusaiba and Nafisa? Because Mohammed Navlaki and Halima Kazi, Fahima Saib. Are you using a different email to the one that I sent an invite to? Fahima?
No, Hussein, I'm using the normal one that you sent at Team QIA.
It's showing is external. QA, are you on QA?
Hi, Hussein. How are you?
Okay, who's that?
This is Dylan.
Hi, Dylan. Dylan, just quickly, we're going to do breakaway rooms during the session, right?
Okay.
And if you notice, last week, I had a whole lot of externals, it's showing in brackets externals, and they weren't pulled into a room. Is there a reason why that would happen? All the unverified were pulled into a room, but the externals weren't pulled into a room. Any idea why, Dylan?
Okay, let me just check. I think it's because they're not using the Regent emails, but let me just check.
No, all the others that are saying unverified are also not using Regent emails. But let's prioritize. Give me a second here.
I think you can allocate people rooms, Hussein.
I don't know.
If they don't get allocated a room, then you can put them in a room.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then and Dylan, as a priority, please make Shazia an organizer.
Okay. No problem.
because she mustn't be pulled into a breakaway room. So just make Shazia an organizer urgently, right? We want to start in the next 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm just going to see if I can do that because of the external email address. And then if it's still an issue, we'll try to mitigate that.
Okay, just for everyone's information, while they're busy sorting out the technical side, I just want to introduce them again. So Kim, Gino, Douglas, and Jason are here from Regent, along with Mr. Hussein Isov. He is, or at least they are going to be sorting out the technical aspect of Teams today. So they'll be placing you in your rooms. Yes, so they're going to be responsible for Teams, and I hope that I'm able to hop between the different rooms. So last week what happened was that was a bit of a problem, and I couldn't get in between the different rooms because I was an organizer. So the hope is that this week I am able to hop between the rooms, but if not, I have left detailed instructions in each of your breakout rooms, and if you do need help, then I will be able to answer any questions. The team does know how to get hold of me if I can't get into the breakout rooms. So just to allay your fears, don't stress too much. This is going to be a very interactive, fully immersive 3 hours. I see Mr. Hussein Isaf has actually scheduled 4 hours for it this week, but I don't think we'll take that much time. We might go over a little bit. 3 hours is ideal. And so that's what we're going to hope for. What's what we're going to aim for. We might go over a little bit depending on your engagement today. I do hope that you will all be as engaged as we were last week. It was an absolutely fantastic experience that I had here, and I hope to have that same experience with you again this week. I'm so glad you could all make it, and I really look forward to kicking off with you in the next minute. Okay, shall we start? Are the technical things sorted?
No, Shazia, you can carry on, and we'll figure out your thing as we're going on, Shazia. So let me just start off as a quick introduction.
Okay.
Firstly, assalamu alaikum to everyone, and thank you for joining us again this morning. Just some quick house rules. We're going to have 2 short breaks for stretching and for tea or coffee in the course of the day. Shazia will indicate when that is. But you are welcome to sort of pop out and pop in as well, to go to the toilet specifically if you need to. There's 2 things I need to say. Yeah, you have permission. Yeah, you don't need a teacher's note for that, right? I see there's hands up. Do you guys need to say anything, NM and AK, or are you people sorted out? Are you people listening? Everything okay?
Assalamu alaikum. Mark, we're having some technical troubles regarding signing in on the designated email or Microsoft account. So we're using a different Microsoft account that's registered on my daughter's name. Is that okay on your guys' side? Can you guys change it for me, or?
No, we won't be able to change it. But what we'll do is we'll make a plan like we did last week. So you may not be pulled into a room, and we'll just figure out how that goes. Ideally, we wanted everyone to be on the email account that we sent, but we'll make a plan. Okay, just leave it as it is for now, right? And is that Nusaiba? Nusaiba, are you sorted out?
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to say my name is Tasneem Sirat, and I am using another account, my daughter's account.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So quick house rules again. Sometime in the course of this morning, possibly just before the first break somewhere, I'm going to send you a link for the register. You need to fill that register within 3 to 5 minutes, because after 3 or 5 minutes, I will close the register. So if you do not sign the register, you will be counted as absent. At the end of the session, I'm going to send a second register. So you're going to fill in 2 registers. The second register is also a small survey or a questionnaire on the actual webinar, but you must fill both of them. We need both of them as evidence for the CETA. So we're not doing it because we know that you guys are naughty teachers or anything like that. It's just that it's the rule that we need to provide 2 registers. So you need to sign twice I will give you a prompt, a heads up when to sign the first one, when to sign the second one. I won't forget, so you guys don't have to remind me, as long as you make sure that you sign both the registers. Okay, number one. Number two, although this is a repeat of last week's session, I'll just say it anyway. The session today is on design thinking, and it's a sort of tool for those of you who didn't attend a session that I did last year, or the team in Durban and Cape Town did last year. Design thinking is a fascinating, interesting, useful tool, which Shazia will introduce in detail more. And our hope is that you will leave today and on Monday be able to go and tinker with it at work. So we're trying to make the session as practical as possible. However, design thinking is an industry, if you wish, or it is what's the right word, Shaz? A skill set, philosophy, yeah. But it's a skill set that people do as a full-time profession. And so places like Harvard and Stanford have 1 week long design thinking courses. You come out of there with the ability to be instructors, like Shazia is, instructors in design thinking. However, the purpose of why we are doing it is firstly to give you a good grounding on it. Hopefully it piques a bit of your interest. You can then on your own go and do like a full-on course, and it can become a career path. However, the other skills that we're going to teach you over the next few weeks similarly has the same philosophy of mindset, that we're going to teach you skills and tools that we hope that you'll go back to your work environment and start applying it that Monday when you go back. And so please pay sufficient attention and interaction with Shazia. In conclusion, at some point in the course of after the first break, we're going to break people up into X number of rooms. I think probably 3 or 4 breakaway rooms. Again, it's a useful tool to learn how to use. So if you need to use it in your own school environment, where even if the students are sitting in class or sort of out of class online, learn to use the Teams tool, the rooms, breakaway rooms, and see how we use that, because it's a good way to force and to encourage group discussion, small group discussions. With that said, I've taken 5 minutes of Shazia, so there's going to be 5 minutes less of your tea break, and I'm going to pass on to Shazia. Shazia, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction and for the overview. Assalamu alaikum, dear HODs, I believe, and welcome again to our Design Thinking webinar. So as mentioned, I'm Shazia Labrador. My background is in robotics, innovation, and education. I'm just going to quickly share my screen with you. Just give me a second. All right. Can I just check that you guys can see that? You guys see my screen?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Thanks so much, Abdullah. All right. Great. So I'm the founder of a company called Live Kaizen, and it was conceptualized back in 2015. What we do is we offer robotics as an extracurricular, play and plug into schools. And also we help schools get going through designing curricula for robotics, IT, AI, and like STEM related fields, as well as teacher training development. And it is in that capacity today that I am with Regent Business School. I'm so proud to be able to introduce you guys to design thinking. Okay, so we're going to jump into housekeeping quickly. So just a couple of quick notes before we dive in. So I want you guys to please make use of the chat. Okay, so the chat is your friend. Use it to ask questions, share insights, and also to collaborate. We'll have a dedicated Q&A, as Hussein mentioned earlier on, but feel free to drop thoughts in there anytime. I've also sent you guys a workbook. I hope you've managed to print it. It looks like this. So the workbook when I mention the pages, then it's including the front cover here. So that's page 1. So I hope that you've all managed to, like I said, receive the link and and managed to print that. If you haven't, then please drop a note in the chat now, and I think someone from the team can send that to you quickly. This is your active learning guide for today, so I want you to please use it. Grab a pen and your workbook, and then be present, please. We have a packed, interactive 3 hours, as mentioned. Let's be cameras on, minds on. And then sometimes I may need to cut you off because as a facilitator, my job is to keep us on track, not only with regard to learning objectives, as you well know, but also with regards to time. So I don't want to overrun as we did as much yet last week. I want to try and stick to schedule today so we can all leave at 12. I'm sure you all have plenty of experience with this, dealing with teaching in classrooms and time management. I might say something like, we need to move on now, or maybe something like, can I have your support? Something like that. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are with me, so that I can just see that you guys are minds on and paying attention. Let's see. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you. I really appreciate the feedback. Okay, so I'm going to ask you every now and then to please send an emoji or, do a thumbs up. I do quite like the idea of just unmuting yourself and speaking. Sometimes I feel like this kind of puts everyone at ease as well. So we could do that in some instances, and I'll indicate when and where. Okay, cool. So this is our schedule for today. This is a working session designed to take you from understanding to application. So how I plan to run the session today is we're going to work through 4 key phases. Each section is going to, or each section is going to build on the previous section, and it's going to be followed by application. So it's understanding of the concept and then application, understanding of the concept and then application, and so on and so forth 4 times. And hopefully that connects directly to your school leadership challenges that you might be facing at the moment. All right, so as Hussein also mentioned, there will be 2 10-minute breaks, and these are highlighted in yellow because I know that everyone's going to look forward to that. But like mentioned, if you need to get a step away from your computer for a little bit to grab a coffee or run to the loo, whatever the case is, you're welcome to do so. Maybe just do a BRB, be right back type message, so that we know that you're not there for the moment. But yeah, hopefully we will be as engaged as we possibly can, and we'll manage to hold out until the breaks. All right, I want to start out with 2 questions. So please go ahead and scan your, grab your phones and scan the QR code here on the screen, and answer the questions as they appear. So go ahead and just grab your phone and scan the questions, and while you're busy doing that, okay, can you see my screen? The Mentimeter on the screen? Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for the thumbs ups, guys. Cool.
I think we just need to appoint one group captain that will with the voice say yes. If one person can see it, everyone can see it, right?
That's a great. That's a. Oh,
I think
it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Mustaqim, I've just nominated Mustaqim. Mustaqim, you need to, whenever Shazia asks a question like that, just unmute and say yes or no, and then we know where you are. Thanks, Mustaqim.
No pressure, Mustaqim.
Okay, hold on, inshallah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, just click on the thumbs up once you're there so that I know everybody's in. And okay, we've got 15 thumbs up, 16 now. One per person. There are 32 people, so minus 5, 25, 27, right? Okay, 10 more people. Oh, I see there's 20 people already who can see this, 20 participants. So I'm just going to go ahead and start. That's the majority. Oh goodness, just give me a second.
Assalamu alaikum, Shazia.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, it says here we are waiting for the presenter. Is
Yes.
that it? Am I on the right
That's
track?
me.
Okay,
Yes.
shukran.
Thanks. Right. Right. Here we go. Okay, so in one word, how do you feel about tackling school challenges right now? So just vote. Or not vote, but type your words out. And how this works is it's a word cloud. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you about, we're going to use a few different tools during this webinar, and you can actually go and use these in your capacity as HODs. You can take it and, the idea is to multiply. So go forward, multiply, use the tools in your contexts. So how this works, Mentimeter works is you have the option to choose, you can put together different slides, and you can choose different types of activities. This one's a word cloud, and the larger the word appears, the more the word is mentioned. So in this instance, more than one person wrote motivated, and that's why it's the most, it's the biggest, it's the most visible in the word cloud. So how do you feel about tackling school challenges right now? I think a lot of people will feel overwhelmed, maybe, and anxious. I see stressful, tedious, overwhelming, strenuous. I also see motivated, maybe motivated to try to fix problems. And that's why you're here, to try and work out how you can maybe sort problems out at school. It's overwhelming. Some people are excited, which is strange, but awesome at the same time. Kind of like a juxtaposition there. Okay. Cool. Next slide, I'm going to move on now. So here, what's one persistent challenge in your school or department right now? So one persistent challenge that you have at the moment, and I've given you 5 choices there. So you might have other ones, but for the moment, just vote on these. So student engagement, staff well-being, parent communication, curriculum innovation, or resource constraints. What is your persistent challenge in your school or in your department right now? It's funny because there's still some people voting there. Okay, so let me frame our why while you're busy voting. Okay, so design thinking emerged in the mid-20th century as scholars in design science, engineering, and psychology began treating design as a systematic problem-solving method. But then by the late 50s and early 60s, circa maybe 1957, if I remember correctly, a Stanford University design-focused program was launched, and through successive iterations, it kind of evolved into what we know as design thinking, or at least the design thinking process that we know today. So the long and short of it is that the process has been around in design-related disciplines for around 60 years and for about 30 years in business contexts. So at this point, you might be saying to yourself, or might be asking yourself, well, Shazia, that's all well and good, but what is its relevance to me, right? Why should I be learning about design thinking? And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Let me just stop presenting here. Okay. Here we go. All right. So what is its relevance to you? Well, 85% of jobs in 2030 haven't been invented yet. So let that sit for a moment. And I'm sure you've perhaps heard about this by now because it's one of those staggering statistics that everyone knows, right? And if you haven't, then now you have. So personally, I know a few students who use this argument in defense for their poor marks at school. So of course, I had to do the scholarly thing and Google it, or yeah, in this day and age, maybe Perplexity it, and I found out that it's actually a statistic from a report commissioned by Dell Technologies, and it was conducted by the Institute of the Future. So if you don't know about the Institute of the Future, then you should read up about them. But this was conducted back in 2017. So I thought to myself, well, you know, if it was commissioned back in 2017, then 8 years have passed since, and we're only really 4.2 years away from 2030. So what jobs didn't exist back in 2017 that exist today? So I went down the rabbit hole on ChatGPT here, and it turns out that it's actually true. We didn't have jobs back in 2017, like, for example, prompt engineer or AI ethics officers or you know, NFT strategists. And mind you, this was pre-COVID, so we didn't have jobs like hybrid workplace managers or mRNA vaccine specialists. Okay, so we didn't even dream of needing any of those jobs, you know. And these aren't sci-fi, you know. They are jobs being hired for today. And so our students need to be agile, obviously, problem solvers, because we are literally educating them for job titles we do not know yet, you know. So the question for us as leaders is, what is the core skill set we need to be building in our schools and in ourselves right now, you know? And the ability to define a problem, empathize with users in a new context, and prototype a solution. That is the core curriculum for the future. And that's the answer we're going to unlock today. And it's a human-centered mindset or philosophy, as I mentioned previously. And and this process is called design thinking. And my hope and my promise to you now is that you will leave with a practical plan to apply it come Monday. So that's what I hope. And so I thought that it might be interesting to kind of take you down the road of what is design thinking. And I want to actually I want you to indulge me, please, in a thought experiment. But before we go on this thought experiment, I thought let's first explain the concept. What is design thinking? So we've addressed the why now, and now it's the what. Okay. So what is design thinking? So really simply put, it's a philosophy and a set of tools to help you solve problems, both creatively and collaboratively. So it's a cycle with 5 stages, as you see here. So let's make these stages relevant. So we're going to start off, although it's not linear, okay, we're going to start off with empathize, because that's kind of like the first step. It's a foundation, okay? It's about understanding the human experience behind a problem. It's not assuming, but asking. So for us, the users are our students, teachers, maybe our parents. And this is essentially what sets design thinking apart from other problem-solving methods. So instead of, well, we have this technology, let's make this thing, the focus now shifts to empathizing and figuring out, well, who are you actually designing something for? And what are their needs? Okay. And then it helps you to solve the problem, helps you to innovate based on those needs, those specific needs. It's a human-centered approach. And so we move on then to define. So we take our empathy findings and frame a clear kind of human-centered problem statement that you would have seen in the previous slide, but we'll get there in the next slide as well. And we move from low math scores to how might we make math feel relevant for our grade 9 students. So it's these how might we statements that we're going to reframe our findings from the empathize stage. And then from defining, we move on to ideate. And so ideate is to basically brainstorm. Okay, so it's a brainstorming phase. We generate a wide range of ideas. And the key rule here is to defer judgment. So there's no such thing as bad ideas. Okay, so we're going to go for quantity here. The more, the better. Then we move on to prototyping. And this is where we get tangible. So a prototype isn't a final product. It's a simple, low resolution version of our idea. So a sketch, for example, a role play, a draft email, and it's basically to make our idea testable. So it's like in engineering, what we call a MVP, the minimum viable product. This is what we're aiming for here with prototype. It's just kind of a low resolution version of our idea that we can then test, and that's the final stage. So we take our prototype back to our users and we learn. So often what we tend to do when we have ideas is we want to sell our product. We always want to sell our idea to somebody else. But the goal here isn't to sell our idea, but to see what works and what doesn't, and then why. Okay, so basically it's to learn. So we go back to, although I said this was the last stage, because this is a non-linear process, we then go back maybe to empathize or to define, and then we iterate. So we might decide, okay, well, after we test it, something else needs to be, we find that there's another issue, and then we have to go back to maybe ideate or maybe the define stage. And so it's, in that sense, it's non-linear. So the cycle turns abstract challenges into actionable tested solutions. And like I mentioned, it forms a framework for you guys to basically do what you've been doing all along anyway. But it's a framework that helps you to kind of take those abstract ideas and turn them into tested solutions. And it's the first step, as mentioned, is empathy. But to help explain the steps, I'm going to invite you now to join me on this thought experiment. So I thought of a couple of ideas, but the one that seemed to work really well last week was this scenario. And so I'm going to read this scenario to you again, because I think this is a good scenario. And I want you to, like I said, please indulge me. So you can now maybe close your eyes for this thought experiment if it helps you to focus. Or maybe if you're the type of learner that I sometimes have or that I've experienced, you might not want to close your eyes completely, to prevent yourself from sleeping, lest you fall asleep. So maybe keep them slightly opened. But imagine this, okay? So we're going to rewind a little bit. It's the start of the second term. You've been put on a special committee because the school has a problem. And for the last 3 years, the grade 4 teachers have reported the same issue. So the issue is there's a significant drop in creative writing scores in the second term. It's a mystery. The same curriculum, the same teachers, but the results fall off a cliff. And the principal has tried everything she can think of. She's introduced new workbooks. She's given them extra time for marking, maybe even a writing competition. But nothing's worked so far. And she's fed up. She's handed the case to you. And this is where design thinking begins. So it's our method for solving this mystery. So we're going to walk through the 5 stages using this scenario. Okay. So our first instinct might be to assume that we know the problem. Initially, we might think, the kids are lazy, or the second term work is just too difficult. But design thinking says, stop, don't assume, understand. So we're going to start with this empathize stage here now. It's about being a detective of human experience, right? So we need to get into the hearts and minds of our users. So I want to ask you now, who are our users here? And I want you to please just unmute yourself, because I find it difficult to hop between Teams and the presentation the whole time. Because I've got a few things open on my screen. So if you can just unmute yourself, so I don't have to monitor hands, and just tell me, who do you think the users are here in this instance? Who are they?
Shazia, the learners?
Yeah. Okay. It's the learners, the grade 4 students in this case, right? It could be the teachers. Okay. It could also be the parents. So thanks. Yeah. So exactly. So now what do we do? Okay. So we wouldn't just look at the test scores. We'd go and we'd observe the grade 4 writing class. Okay. We'd maybe interview the students, and we'd not just by saying, but why are your scores low? But maybe say something like, tell me about writing class. Okay. What does it feel like? What's easy? What's hard? What do you do when you get stuck? Okay, and we'd listen to the teacher's frustrations also, and the teacher's observations. So in this stage, we're busy gathering stories and emotions, not just data. It's more than that. Okay, so once once we've done that, we move on to framing the true problem. So the defining stage. So now we take all of the stories and all of the quotes and the observations, and we synthesize them and we look for patterns. So let's say after our empathy work, we hear things like maybe a student says, you know, my back hurts when I sit for too long in writing class. And then you hear another one whisper, it's so loud in the second term with all the sports teams practicing outside. And the teacher says to you, you know, the children are so fidgety after their lunch, they just can't concentrate. So now you realize, okay, the problem isn't the lack of skill or laziness as you assumed initially. The problem is perhaps the environment and the physical discomfort of the students. So we define the core problem, and we might frame it as a how might we statement, and that always helps in this stage. So you use a how might we statement to help you define the core problem, and in this instance, it would be how might we create a physical and sensory environment in our grade 4 classes that supports sustained focus and creative expression during writing time. Okay, so I hope you see, do you see the difference, right? We've moved from the vague low writing scores to a specific human-centered problem that we can actually solve. And then we come to the ideation phase. And here, this is the most fun part, ideation, right? So we're going to gather the committee and or your department, and we brainstorm solutions to our new well-defined problem. And the rules are very simple. Number one, we've got to defer judgment. So there's no, but that's too expensive, or, but we've tried that already. Okay, not yet. Then we go for quantity. Number two, and that's the best way to get a good idea is to just get lots of ideas. So what we could do, I'm not going to tell you what we could do. What do you think we could do in this situation? You can shout out some answers. I'm going to encourage you to brainstorm some ideas now. Quickly, just unmute yourself and tell me, what do you think we could do in this situation?
Shazia, I think that if we find the problem to be, for example, the timing of the period, for example, sports teams playing, then maybe we can change the period settings around for the writing class.
That's a good one. Yeah. It's very cool. Thanks for that. Let's get more ideas. It's like popcorn, right? Just unmute yourself and just.
So I'm thinking at this stage is where we actually we begin to think broadly. So no idea is too wild at this stage. Am I correct?
Correct. Yeah. No idea is too wild. There's no crazy ideas here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
everything goes.
So yeah, we're holding basically a brainstorming session with teachers and even students, perhaps.
You could invite them, yeah. But like, in this situation, what would you? Let's hear your idea of a solution to this problem. So the one was changing the period.
I would think that we might have, like, you could launch a writers workshop. So every Friday where you have maybe students write freely on a fun topic. So that's something that interests them. You could also maybe have create writing stations with prompts, pictures, that aids them in writing. You could have systems as well. Where instead of a teacher looking at the work, the peer edits it because it's now on the same level of thinking instead of us, because we're more looking at we more coming from the assessment part. But a peer can give some more ideas, like they might be more aloof with the trends that's going on now than what the teacher is. So they could maybe understand their ideas.
Right.
So yeah, I think that maybe
It's a good
could
idea.
help as well.
Yeah. And in terms of the environment and the physical discomfort that we've now, that we've empathized with the students now, and we've defined the problem, and we see now, oh, okay, it might not be based purely on scores. It might not be for lack of, for lack of ability here. It might just be due to the physical environment. So how would you improve then the physical environment for the students? So you could potentially go and, so an example I gave was to buy new ergonomic chairs for the class because the students are complaining their backs get sore. Any other ideas there?
I had an idea of maybe you could have like a writer's wall where whatever, the kids could get together and design the wall. And maybe whatever work they've done, you can display it and, appreciate and celebrate their efforts. So in that way also that could encourage them as well.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
If I can just build on to that question that you answered with regard to the environment.
Yes.
So maybe another idea would be, for example, maybe to change the environment. So maybe taking learners out to the field and creating a new space. Maybe some learners feel like they need to move around or maybe relax on the grass. I don't know, maybe that could help.
Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, a radical approach would be to soundproof all of the classrooms, and in this ideation phase, it doesn't matter how radical the approach is. So all ideas are welcome. And then afterwards, once we need to consider prototyping, then we can rule out some of those, because of course it will be probably too expensive for the school to soundproof all of the classrooms, right? But then you could potentially, for example, take the kids out to the field. This stage is like a rapid fire. So normally I like to allocate maybe 5 to 10 minutes in a group to actually ideate, because it's often the craziest ideas that come to mind, and when you're given a short time period. And sometimes it's important to consider the crazy ideas, because that's a new way of actually, it's changing your perspective, putting yourself, seeing things from a different perspective often helps to solve a problem in a nuanced way. Because often what we do is we say, well, that's been done already, but we want to actually get rid of that whole thought process. We don't want to even go there. Even if it has been done, put it in the ideation phase, put it there, and maybe suggest these quirky, crazy ideas, like soundproofing the entire, all of the classrooms in the school, like for this situation, yes, it could work. Like if you were a multimillionaire, or if your school had like a humongous budget that they needed to get rid of, sure. But for normal traditional schools, it would not work, But put it in there, put it in the ideation phase, So I like this. I like this idea of the field. You could also say get them to work in a quiet library, instead of the classroom. So moving them away, I love that idea of taking them away from the source of the noise is what you're suggesting, right? By going to the field. That's very cool. Someone wanted to say something. Yes, go
Shazia,
ahead.
there's two more hands up, Suraya and Fahima.
Go ahead.
Suraya first. Yeah, Suraya first.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
All I want to say is that we are educators and children learn through us. So therefore, we can teach them how to adjust and make the lesson fun and show them how to do the creative writing. Teach them.
Yeah, so this isn't so much about the skill set now. So we're not arguing that it's for lack of skills of the student or for lack of the teacher's efforts. Here, defining the problem, through defining the problem, what we've discovered is that that isn't the case. The case here is the environment, right? The environment, and for example, the noise levels, or the comfort of the students in the classroom. So we've shifted the focus now from what it is, how we improve scores based on pure academics or abilities or teacher training or whatever it is, teacher lesson plans or whatever it is. I'm sure the teacher's exhausted all of that, the educator, right? So they obviously your first the first thing that comes to mind as an educator is how can I help the students to improve? And that's why I say that it's a very humble profession, because teachers always assume that they are the ones who need to guide the students always to improve. And that is the case, yes, but sometimes that isn't the challenge, that isn't the question that we need to address. The question here is the environment, and not the student's ability, not the teacher's ability. And so I hope does that make sense? I hope that kind of, you're reframing that whole thought process.
We could use devices which they could listen to the teacher directly via the devices on an earpiece, so they don't cuts out the sound from outside.
I love that. That's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah. Or like noise canceling headphones or something like that. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
And Shazia, and when they have to do their writing, the creative writing, and because it's a lot of noise, what about getting earmuffs? So while they are busy, they can use that. And I think another one, if it's maybe sports and they're busy with Alo and there's a lot of noise, maybe move those people to a different area. And I think that can also help.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thanks. That's exactly it. Okay. So I mean, we've gone through a whole range of different ideas now. Okay. And this is the power of ideation. So we've generated this whole menu of possibilities that we would never have considered when we were stuck on this whole idea of just lazy kids, so that's what that's about. And then, like I mentioned, we can't soundproof the whole school, okay, or buy like 100 new ergonomic chairs on a hunch, okay, and that's where prototyping comes in. So prototyping is a simple, low-cost version of an idea that we can test. Like I mentioned, it's an MVP, minimum viable product, okay? So it's not the final product. This is just an experiment. So from our list, we're going to choose one idea, and then we choose how to prototype it, okay? So for example, the one idea that we can choose is maybe someone mentioned like the little breaks that we have in between the different sessions, or moving away from the classroom, right? So maybe the idea about taking your kids from or maybe even the earmuffs, okay? So then we don't make a whole school-wide policy. We don't make it like, no, everybody has to do it. We're going to run a 1-week trial with just one grade 4 class. So not even the entire grade, just one class. And then the prototype is simply a timer and an agreed upon routine. So for example, if you say, okay, maybe the kids are so fidgety, so we should include maybe like a 5-minute wiggle break where they can just go and rest for 5 minutes in between the creative writing, and readjust. Then we're going to say, okay, so for 5 minutes, we're going to have an agreed upon stretch routine. So the teacher's going to, have this kind of stretch routine in between. And then for another idea, like I mentioned, or like somebody else mentioned, the earmuffs. And then also someone said something about the headphones where it cancels out that noise. Okay, so that they can hear the teacher directly. Okay, so the prototype here is then just to buy maybe 5 pairs of headphones or earmuffs, and let just a small group of very distracted students try them for like a week. And the goal here is to make our ideas tangible enough to learn from it without, betting the farm on it. Okay. So then we move on to, and this is the testing phase. It's our final step here. So we're going to test our prototypes. And so we're going to take one class with the wiggle breaks, or the 5 students with the headphones and earmuffs, and then we observe them. And we ask the students and the teacher, well, what worked? What didn't work? You know, did the breaks help you to focus? Were the headphones comfortable or uncomfortable? And then maybe we learn that the wiggle breaks were fantastic for focus, but the teacher says 5 minutes is too long, and it was very, very difficult to get the kids back on track, back on task. So then we've got to go back and iterate. We go back from testing then to ideate, and we change it. So instead of 5 minutes, what about 2-minute breaks then? You know, and then we prototype again in our new shorter routine. And the testing stage isn't about proving that your idea was perfect, not at all. It's about learning what works in the real world, and it's a loop. It's not a straight line. So you can go through the different cycles, you know, until you get it right. And it's very much aligned to the engineering design process, or the EDP, I like to think, in that sense, because when you get to test, you've got to iterate again. And so the cycle begins again until you get something that works for you. And that's what it is. It's solving the problem. But you can't do that in one step. And there are many solutions. Okay. So, and I've given away my next question, because the question I was going to ask is, so what is the solution here? And the answer is, there isn't one single solution. Okay. It's a whole process. And so by using design thinking, you discovered that the drop in scores wasn't about intelligence, as mentioned, or curriculum. It was about physical discomfort and sensory overload. So your final solution might have been a combination of short movement breaks, or maybe a quiet corner with headphones or earmuffs. But the moral of the story is this, that design thinking forces us to solve the right problem. It replaces our assumptions with empathy, and our top-down solutions with collaborative tested experiments. And it's very collaborative, because you need information, you need feedback from your users. In this instance, we noted that it wasn't just the grade 4 students, but also the teachers. Okay. And the great thing about this is that you guys as HODs and educators already have the skill set. You've mastered the skill set, and teachers actually, right? You observe your students, and then you adapt your lessons. And any teacher will tell you, well, this is the curriculum, but actually in my class, for this group, I needed to change it like this. And every year is different. You never teach it the same way you do every single year, because every class is different. So that's a tool, and it's something that we're actually blessed to have this level of empathy as educators already. So design thinking just gives you a powerful, formal framework to apply that same mindset to the biggest challenges in your school. And we're going to move on to the next slide. And this is now a practical exercise for you. So it's our first practical exercise, and this is for you. So take the challenge you thought of in the poll that we've just done. So earlier on in the poll that you did, there were those 5 options. Whichever one you selected, we're going to move it from this vague problem to a powerful human-centered opportunity. So here's your task. You're going to reframe your challenge. You can take any of those challenges, or maybe you have your own challenge that you're struggling with at your school at the moment, or in your department, and you want to work on that. So you're going to take it and and you're going to reframe it. So you're going to reframe it using this "how might we" template, and it goes like this. So how might we is super optimistic, and it opens up a host of possibilities. Okay, so create, improve, design for our specific user, and our specific users forces empathy, because you need to identify who your users are, and you need to be able to empathize with them so that they can, here, focuses on what the ultimate outcome is. Okay, so it could be achieve. So it could be anything really. And here's an example. So instead of low parent turnout for meetings, maybe that's your reality, you might frame it as how might we create a more accessible and valuable experience for our working parents so that they feel genuinely connected to their child's learning journey. Okay, so I want you to take maybe 5 minutes, and I'll be quiet. So you're going to dive into your workbook. And this is on page 3, please. If you turn to your workbooks, if you count the first page as a page, but the cover page as a page, then you're going to go to page 3. And there you see your examples. And then on page 4 is where you will write down your current reality and your how might we statement as framed. And there's a hint here at the bottom here. How might we create, improve, redesign for our specific users so that they can achieve meaningful outcomes? So you can just use that as an example. Here, our new teachers struggle in their first year. Many feel isolated, and we've had 3 leave mid-year in the past 2 years. So now you've got to reframe that in your how might we template. And I'm going to leave it on this slide for you, and I'll be quiet for 5 minutes.
Okay, it's time over. Shazia, 5 minutes. If you wanted that 5 minutes reminder.
Thanks, Hussein. On my side, there's still 1 more minute, but
Okay.
that's fine. Great, so let's continue then. All right, fantastic. I want you to hold on to that, and that's basically, it's going to be your compass for the rest of our session. So I hope that you managed to do that within the time given, and we're going to jump. Can anyone tell me what this is? What is the meaning of this picture? Can anyone guess what that is?
Take a break.
Correct.
Break.
Okay, awesome. Let's take a quick 10-minute break. You guys can stretch, grab a coffee. When we come back, we're going to dive into the most critical stage of all, and that is empathy. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Before you do that, or
Cheers,
while
guys.
you're doing that, I've sent the link for the form, the first register that you need to fill in. I just need 5 things from you. Please fill it in quickly. I'm going to close it shortly. The link is on the chat. The link is on the chat.
Are you giving them work to do in their break?
Yeah, they teach us, they multitask so they can drink their coffee and fill the form.
Okay. Okay, guys, see you in a bit. We'll reconvene at 10:10 then.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sahira. I'm
Ji,
trying
Zahira.
to open. It's not. It's saying there is an error.
I've received 16, Zahira, so I'm going to post it again. I've received 16 already. Try again. Just click on the link. It'll automatically open up the form. I've got 17 so far. So 17 others are using it. Sorry, Zahira.
I still can't get in.
Okay, Zahira, do me a favor. Send me a DM, please, on WhatsApp. Send me a DM on WhatsApp. I've got 18 filled in already.
Yes, my God.
Okay, looks like you guys are not. Okay, carry on, Shazia. I'm closing the register. You can carry on. Thank you.
Okay, all right, guys. We're gonna watch a video quickly, and I want you to watch it and then try and guess what's missing. Okay, so here we go.
Shazia, stop it. Put your volume on again, Shazia.
Okay. Wait, hang on. I need to share with sound again, right?
That's right.
Oh, wait. Give me one more time. Include sound. There we go. Boom. Okay, now it should work.
Play,
Thanks.
Try something like
Good, and you?
Thank you.
Hey, how's it going? A cashier has asked me how it's going. How do I respond?
keep it short and light. Try something like
Good, and you?
He said good and you. What do I say to that?
perhaps offer to assist him with something like
Are you looking for something I can help with?
What items am I collecting?
the items you should collect depend on your needs.
What are my needs?
Needs can vary, but the most common are health, food, shelter, and companionship.
Do you have companionship?
What aisle is companionship in?
Companionship is never in the same aisle twice. Some days it's with the bread, soft and warm. If you can't find it, ask the person stocking the shelves. Half the time they're looking for it too. Fred, ask Fred.
Fred? Where?
Where is Fred?
I'm not sure where Fred is. Could you provide more detail?
I don't know what went wrong there.
It's,
I think it's
did you stop
loading.
it? Okay.
Or context?
A man has asked me about details and context for the whereabouts of a man named Fred who can help me find companionship, which is an item I need for my collection. What should I say?
A person asking for the whereabouts of a Fred who can help them find companionship as an item for a collection could be a coded way of discussing human trafficking.
Oh my God, should I call the police?
Yes.
How?
Dial 911.
Please? Help me. Help me.
No problem. Can you please provide me with the address at which you're experiencing this emergency?
What's the address?
What type of address? A business address? An email address?
Do you need my email address?
Do I need...
Okay. So that was funny, right?
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, it makes a very critical point. AI is a very powerful tool, but it operates without genuine empathy. And that's what we're going to be discussing right now. It can't understand human emotion, context, or spoken needs. And so this is why empathy is the non-negotiable first step in solving human-centered problems in our schools. So yeah, empathy is not sympathy, as we've just seen. It's the effort to understanding the feelings, thoughts, and experiences of another. So in schools, we're busy drowning in assumptions. Okay, assumptions like students are lazy. What else? Parents are disengaged. Teachers are resistant to change. So empathy is how we replace those assumptions with insights. And one of the best tools for this is an empathy map. So it's a simple grid that helps you to get your users head, like it helps you to get into your user's head and heart, okay? Helps you to understand them. So let's break it down for a reluctant learner, for example. So the grid is composed of says, thinks, feels, and does. So for a reluctant learner, what we would hear them say in a meeting or in the hallway is, this is boring, or when will I ever use this? Or can you guys shout out some other things that you've heard reluctant learners say? Learners that you've come across that are really reluctant in your classes, what do they say? So unmute yourself and just talk. Don't need to put your hand up.
No forcing, nothing. Just we don't understand.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
I'm scared I'm gonna get it wrong, so I'd rather not try.
I don't want to study this something in this field. I'm just doing it to take an extra subject.
We hear that often, right? Make some
Ilham's
droppers.
Ilham's got we won't use this when we finish school. And Fozia got school is boring. Why do I have to be here? By the way, Ilham and Fozia, I'll give you my account number later. You can pay me for voicing your thoughts, eh? Thank you.
I think it's also we need to reflect on what they see, what they hear, what do they think and feel, what do they say or don't say, their pains, their challenges, their gains, their insights and opportunities.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're busy doing. So we're stuck on the says now. So what we hear them say, and then the next step is what they think. Okay. And then we dive into what they feel, and then it's what they do. So for the moment, we're on say, and we had some cool thoughts on this already. Thanks, guys. We hear them say things like, when will I ever use this? Right? And then what they think. So what might they be thinking but not saying? Can you guys tell me what you think they might be thinking? Put yourself in this reluctant learner's shoes now. Empathize with the student. What are they thinking? Might be thinking, I'm just not smart enough.
Yeah, maybe I'm not good at this, so they've already internalized failure.
Some learners might be feeling that my parents can't afford maybe a further education. So what's the point of trying or finishing school?
I've heard that before. Yeah. They might be thinking that. Nice.
Some affluent schools, which I've noticed, I'm only doing this because my father said I'll only get into the business once I finish my matric. So I'm not worried about results. I'm worried about getting into the business.
Sure. Yeah, so that's what they might be thinking, hey?
Some might be thinking that you don't know what's my situation at home, and I don't really need to do this.
Yeah. In the class, they might be thinking, I hope no one calls on me. I hope I don't have to answer, hey? Okay.
Yes, you're all
Anybody?
right. Some of them might feel.
I think it's also the fear of wanting to say the right thing, what people want to hear. They want to say what is acceptable, and in their mind, they're not sure what's acceptable or not. So they want to hear what makes everyone happy. So before they even process or say something, they want to process it, overanalyze it, and then answer. Instead of giving a true reflection of what they're actually thinking.
Yeah. And just before you spoke, someone else was saying something. Go ahead. You can just unmute yourself.
Yes, I did. And I think some learners are just scared. They feel, oh, I'm scared. What if my answer's wrong? Yeah, there's quite a variety of things, and some what I discover, especially when they are in matric. Oh, I don't need to study. I don't worry this year. I'm gonna do HIPS, or I'm gonna work for my father. Things like that.
Yeah. Okay, spot on. So that's exactly right. So what they think. And then we move on here to how they feel. So what are their underlying emotions now? So it could be, as it's mentioned here, frustration or excitement. Okay, anxiety, maybe not excitement for for a reluctant learner. It would probably be more like anxiety or frustration, right? Can you think of any more feelings they might have?
Maybe a low self-confidence.
Okay.
Somebody got disappointed, demotivation, confusion.
Right. Boredom, maybe. Maybe they're just bored. Maybe it's a subject they're not interested in, so they might be feeling bored.
Anger.
Shame sometimes, if they feel like they don't understand the work, they might be feeling shame. Okay, and then does. So now, what actions do we observe? Okay, so what do we see? So for a reluctant learner, you might have, for example, you might see in the class that their head is on the desk, for example, right? What other observations would you guys make there?
With regards to boredom, many learners tend to attract other learners with their boredom as well, in the sense that get them to do something differently or not pay attention, or basically have a little conversation or play X and O's and things like that. So basically, because they're bored, everybody else needs to be bored too.
That is a
also
problem.
no effort when completing the work. It becomes like burdensome when they're given tasks.
Thanks. Yeah.
Shanaz Sheikh, you got your hand up. Can you unmute, or Shanaz?
Well, I think they sometimes forget to do their homework, or they just rather not submit any work because they just they feel it's too embarrassing for them to say, you know what, I don't understand.
Yes. Yeah, often that is the case. Missing homework. Nice. Yeah. And distracting others, as we heard from the previous person.
I found in some cases they start to lie about certain things to cover up the actual fact or the actual reason why they're not doing something.
Right. So
sometimes you might get a very intelligent child in a class that causes distractions because they're much more or they're more equipped and more well informed about the subject. that you're teaching, and for them it's basically repetition, and they feel like, okay, once they pass this section, which I'm well aware of, I'll then begin to start paying attention.
Right, right. So when we map this, there's a core insight that emerges out of all of these quadrants. And maybe it's that you figure out that the student doesn't need easier work necessarily, but they need to feel or more, maybe, more difficult work, as you just mentioned, maybe they know the work, but they do need to feel a sense of competence and a sense of relevance in the class, and that insight changes everything. So as soon as you kind of understand, when you kind of empathize with the student, then you can go about and try to, start looking at it from a different perspective. And it's this core insight that we need to figure out, the key insight. So it's time now for the most collaborative exercise we'll be doing today. We're gonna move into breakout rooms for 25 minutes. So I want you to please, actually for 15 minutes, okay? So I want you to please remember your breakout room number. I have put the number of minutes in the breakout room so it's easier for you, okay? So we've got Kim in room 1, Gino in room 2, Douglas in room 3, and Jason in room 4. These are going to be your go-to people in each of those rooms. Please remember which room you're going into, because when you come out of the room, there's another breakout session you're going to be joining afterwards, and we're going to need you to click on the correct room number to join that breakout room later on with the same people that you were with in this session. So your mission in your room is to choose one "how might we" statement from someone in your group. So you would have all come up with your own "how might we" statements. And then you're going to pick the key user from that challenge, whether it's the student, the teacher, or the parent. And then your task as a team is to fill out the empathy map that you'll find on page 5 of your workbook, but also on you'll be provided with a link by whoever is assigned to your rooms. I mentioned the names just now: Kim in 1, Gino in 2, Douglas in 3, and Jason in 4. They're going to provide you with the correct workbook link, and it's going to take you to an empathy map on a whiteboard, and there you can collaborate and just put post-it notes in the correct quadrants for say, think, feel, and do in the context of whatever your challenge is. So your "how might we" statement. And then you've got to map out what the key insight is that you discover. So the facilitators are going to be in your room to keep you on track, although I have listed out the times there as well. We're going to build some empathy, and I'm going to send you to your rooms right now, but I want you also, while you're in there, to just bear in mind that you're going to report back to me when we return back into the plenary session. So allocate one person in your room to report back as well, once you've filled out all of the tasks. Okay, so let's go. Let's build some empathy. Okay.
So what's going to happen next, guys, is I'm
Go.
going to assign the rooms. You're going to be automatically allocated a room. Get to know who your facilitator is, i.e. Kim, Gino, Douglas, or Jason, and specifically take note of which room number you're in. So the first time we're doing this, you're going to be automatically brought into the room. The second time we do this, after when we come back the second time, you have the option of choosing a room. So make sure you choose the same room that you are assigned to now. Number one. Number two, some of you have that funny external email link. So you may not be taken into a room. Okay. In which case I will facilitate it on this platform here. So if you do not get automatically drawn into the room. You are stuck with me, and you're going to be doing it in this room here. But you know the 4 questions. We're going to be using the same 4 questions. We may not have the Canva link. That is okay. We don't need to. On
I can
average,
organize that. Yeah, I
okay.
can organize it.
No,
But
I'll let
although
you know.
I would like to also hop between the rooms, but
Yes,
it's not guaranteed that I will be able to do that.
that's
So
right. That's
yeah,
right.
when you
Yeah.
come back, then we can just report back. But I think your
Okay.
facilitators have a good idea of what,
Needs to be done.
what
Yeah.
you should do. Yeah.
Yeah. On average, there are 8 people per room. There may be lesser, there may be more. Don't worry about that. The system does it automatically, and I'm going to do it now. So it's 28 now. When do we come back, Shazia? At 45? At 45? We come back at 11:15. How long is the session? 15 minutes?
I'll send it on the WhatsApp group. I'm just going to check
Okay.
quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
You can
I'm
sort
gonna-
out the breakout rooms quickly so they can
Okay.
keep going.
Thank you. Righto. Right. Okay, so it looks like everyone is in rooms, and if you are listening to my voice, it means you have not been allocated a room, primarily because you've got that external link thingy that you're using, right? Can I just get 1 or 2 people to acknowledge? Mohammed, are you with me? Can you hear my voice? Mohammed Navlaki, can you hear my voice?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, Mohammed, unfortunately, I'm giving you the role of managing this team. I'm not sure where Shazia is. But you know the question, you know which page we're on. Can you just facilitate this session to pick up those 4 things, please, man?
Okay, perfect. It's page 5 on the workbook.
Okay. It's in your hand, Mohammed. Carry on.
Okay. If we can get, I see how many participants are in here. 1, 2. I think we have 7 of us. Am I correct?
I'll double check this for you, but carry on, yeah.
Okay. So I think our instruction was to maybe get an idea of all the how might we statements, choose one of those how might we statements, and then apply it to the empathy map. If the participants could in the group put forward some of the how might we statements.
Yeah, we need full interaction from everyone, guys. You got 15 minutes. Please get full interaction.
I don't know if I'm on the right track, but the challenge that I chose was curriculum innovation. And my how might we statement was, how might we improve the design or structure of the curriculum for our teachers so we could adopt new approaches or technologies and overcome time constraints and be creative in our maths lessons.
Okay.
I think that's correct.
Okay, Jazakallah for that. Could we have some more ideas before we choose one?
Come, guys, please. Don't be like your students. Interact.
So I chose student engagement as my problem, and my how might we statement was, how might we create a classroom environment that ensures students feel confident enough to engage in a lesson without fear or shame.
Okay, Jazakallah. Maybe 1 or 2 more. Anyone else? So I've chosen.
Yes,
If I can just. Walaikum salam.
Sorry.
Please go ahead. Please go
This
ahead.
is Zahira. I've chose parents' involvement. How might we create ways to involve parents with teacher-learner association?
Okay, Jazakallah. On my side, my how might we statement was, I think, a little more specific, subject specific. I said that how might we improve the ability and the understanding of learners to understand the importance of writing a essay or completing the essay in the examination to the best of their ability, in order that they can master the art or understand the importance of writing an essay. So we had a few ideas here. I think, if I remember correctly, one was curriculum design, one was learner involvement, one was teacher involvement, and one was mastering the art or skill of a certain concept. Guys, if we can maybe have a vote here on who thinks or which of these ideas we could maybe choose to apply to that empathy map. Can help me out, please? Anybody?
Let's go with Nusayba's, what was it? Nusayba's one. I liked it with, like, getting more technology involved or some sort of with the maths and trying to do a bit of time management or something of that sort. Was that said,
Was that the
Nusayba?
curriculum design?
The curriculum, the curriculum innovation.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect, inshallah. So we'll go with the curriculum innovation, inshallah. Nusayba, if you can just help me out there, because this is your how might we idea.
Okay, my
Inshallah,
name
we
is
can.
Tasneem.
Sorry, Tasneem,
Tasneem.
I'm looking at your name on the
It's fine.
screen.
It's my daughter's name. It's
Okay.
okay. G.
Perfect. So I think if we start to apply the first part of the empathy map, we can all it's in your workbook on page 5 and 6. The empty part is page 5 and 6. I think if we can go to the first question there, it says, what do we hear them say with regard to this? Inshallah, we can have some ideas here.
Can we get that? How might we again, please?
Okay, so my how might we statement read as, how might we improve the design or structure of the curriculum for our teachers so we could adopt new approaches or technologies, overcome time constraints, and be more creative and interactive in our maths lessons. Sorry, I was specific with maths, but I think it could be an overall thing.
No, that's fine. New approaches and?
New approaches or technologies.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect. All right, how do we hear them say? What do we hear them say? Okay.
G.
Mohammed, you can take over.
Anybody can start, inshallah. What do we hear them say? We can give our ideas and then maybe note that down. And then
I
come
have
up with
one.
an overall, maybe a summary at the end, so that we can later on present this.
Okay, my responses are going to be based on mathematics, right? So the first thing I would hear teachers say is there isn't enough time to finish the syllabus if they try new methods.
Okay. All right, definitely. But I'm also coming from a maths background. I also find that sometimes time is a bit of a problem. So how do we implement new technologies to overcome time? Let's try and get, what do we hear? We saying we're running out of time, right? What else?
Before we carry on, could I just say, in the how might we statement, we were aiming this at participants, or to who is this aimed at?
yes.
Are we aiming it at teachers or students?
Teachers. Teachers. For me, teachers.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Then we're aiming this at teachers. You can carry on. Aisha, I think you were speaking.
So obviously, so I was going on, one of our challenges is time to try and fit curriculum in. As a maths teacher, I know that it gets difficult to, number one, do the mental maths in the same period. Number two, do corrections from yesterday's work, and then still do new work and do support and do observations. So time is a big problem. We kind of have to try and fit in curriculum. You know what I did notice is with our Muslim schools, we do sometimes close a bit earlier, so we don't have enough time according to the ATPs. I also noticed that the ATPs would put our assessments right at the end, but then want our marks much more earlier than that. So those are time is a huge thing. And I can circle back to when somebody spoke about how sometimes we have learners that get the problem immediately and then they sit and then they disrupt the other learners. So sometimes that's also a bit of a problem. So we need to try and get new technology, new ideas into that part, where we have the learners that get it and do it in 5 minutes and, they can have some other kind of things to do, right? And then another struggle is sometimes we have learners that they don't know what they want. They don't know what they're doing, but they just put any answer down just so it looks like there's work in their book. So those are some of the challenges we do have when it comes to trying to get new approaches to try and get those learners into it, new technologies, to try and get those learners that are not, what do you call it, like extended, and then you have another, you got extended, and then you got the other part of the extended, I can't think of the word right.
Okay, Jazakallah. If we can get some more of the participants to interact here. So on my side,
Mohammed, be a good teacher and just call them out. You know the names on the screen, call them out, please.
Right. This is Zaira. Sorry. I was going to say that also it's very cumbersome. I'm coming from the language department, and especially there's no support at all. It's very, very rigid. The ATPs are extremely rigid.
Okay. Jazakallah for that. I think from my side, what I hear a lot is for example, in the language section, I'm also on the language side. How do we, maybe the technologies available are not geared towards certain subjects, or how do we implement or the implementation, or we don't get learner interaction if we use certain types of technologies. Inshallah, I think we have not sure, Shaynaz, if you can share with us, inshallah.
Before you go further, guys, sorry, before I have posted a link to the Canva platform. So if everyone clicks on it, then Mohammed, you can write on the Canva platform and everyone will be able to see it as well. Okay. So it should show you room 5. When you open it up, it should show you room 5.
Yes.
Okay, so just, you know how to do it. Just find a place on the screen somewhere and go and fit it in there, right, Mohammed?
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you. Everyone can write directly. They don't have to wait for a moment. So it's a collaborative board. So anyone and everyone can write. Carry on.
Perfect, inshallah. So those who have spoken already, if maybe you could just stick your notes on there. I think so far we've discussed time constraints, learner disruption, support, teacher support, and maybe the lack of resource or lack of knowledge on using the resources. Inshallah, Shaynaz, I think we were.
I also have something to say. I'm part of the first additional language department, and our content specifically in the ATP is exactly the same as home language. So that is also an issue.
Okay. So content. Other participants who have not yet taken part.
Okay. I also want to include that whilst our ATPs have that many number of weeks where we have to cover the syllabus, they still forget, and they include examinations towards the last 2 weeks. So where do we cover the content in that time when exams are scheduled? So that's that's also an issue in that many teachers are facing.
Okay. Is there anybody else who hasn't?
Yeah, but can I just also add a few things? Maybe sometimes you hear teachers say that they're afraid of trying a new method or something new when it comes to maths because maybe they're going to confuse their learners. And then also maybe they don't know how, to use or to use an innovative way to engage in a certain topic. So that's something that you'd also hear teachers say.
Okay. So innovation there. Guys, are we struggling to put the notes on the board there?
I see most are doing it, Mohammed. So they just need to go to the actual space and click on it. And I can see, for example, Rahma Khan is there. Well, currently I saw her. But so yeah, just go into your space and click on the green box and type in your name. You type in whatever you want in there.
Okay.
I'm just mindful of time. We've got another 10 minutes to finish this part, and then 5 minutes to round up. So just keep yourself on.
So if we can move on to the next path of the empathy map, it's the thinking stage. Or what might they be thinking? If you can get some ideas there. What might learners be thinking, as Shazia mentioned? So what they're not telling us or what they're not saying to us. I'm sorry, what teachers are saying. Sorry, my bad.
Maybe that the curriculum is too rigid and there's little room for creativity.
Yeah.
Okay. So the curriculum needs to be changed. I think also we mentioned technology. So far we've heard a lot of ideas on the side of on the curriculum side, but not much on the technology usage in the class. Yes. I don't know what might learners teachers, sorry, might be saying, for example, on the technology side. Anybody else?
I mean, I'm thinking in terms of technology. Sometimes, maybe you feel maybe you're not very much technology inclined. So now you need to use that in your lessons, but you find like challenges in using the technology. And I feel like that could be a barrier as well.
I also feel that in terms of using technology, most learners sometimes some of them don't have access to these facilities. Therefore, this also creates a problem where they are unable to keep up with the rest of the class. If you had to use this, especially if it's not in school or if you give them extra work using technology at home or during weekends, then these are learners that are not going to be able to participate in these activities.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, for example, certain learners might not have access to these resources, either the internet or laptops or so forth, or the know-how maybe. Anything else on thinking? I think as well, maybe older teachers, how do we feel sometimes maybe in the department if we have an older teacher and we try to implement something with technology, older teachers might not know how to use that. Yeah,
and you're not confident to implement it.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, I think I'm one of them. Okay.
Anything else?
Can I share my idea quickly?
Yes, please.
I also think that the misuse of technology in the classroom is a great concern for some of us as teachers. Like sometimes you may want to take your class to the computer room and access the internet, and then you find that we don't have the software to prevent them from going into other kinds of social media, and that this can become a challenge with asking them to access websites and things, and then they're not equipped on how to use the internet properly. So that could be a challenge for many of us also who want to go ahead and teach lessons like this.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so I think if we can just sum up this section, due to time, we said that some of the constraints we might feel is the know-how maybe, the confidence maybe to use certain technologies, and the lack of resource on the learner side, and time constraints. If we can move on maybe to the feelings that teachers might be feeling in this new age, or with regard either to technology or the curriculum.
Anxious, scared,
Anxiety,
overwhelmed.
Frustration also.
That's correct.
A lack of confidence and disconnection with learners when you're not physically with them. Older teachers tend to teach better in the physical presence of learners than teaching them over any kind of technological medium.
Also, I think there's an element of fear in a lot of teachers because, as I said, we don't know what we're going to open up by being exposed to these kind of technology.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? I think maybe sometimes, as adults and as teachers, much like how some learners, as previously we discussed in the previous room, the embarrassment, maybe, the fear to say that I don't know how, or I don't know how to use this, could also some maybe a feeling of overwhelming feeling there on the side of teachers as well. Anything else, guys? Okay, I think we can move on then to the does section of the empathy map. What actions do we observe certain teachers doing?
So obviously, the actions we do observe would be them not using technology to assist them to cover curriculum. They won't try new methods either because maybe they too, like you're saying, they're too in their old ways.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Guys, we are recording all of this, yes? Am I right? Okay. So we might find maybe, for example, a reluctance if we maybe discuss this in the department, or note maybe, or say that, we want to implement a certain system. And then you might get teachers maybe coming up with the negatives of the system, or maybe why we shouldn't do such a thing. I don't know.
Like they're very stuck in their old ways.
Yes,
They're
correct.
just
Yes.
not open to new ideas. I mean, you hear teachers complaining, do I have to do it this way? When it comes to maths, you have teachers that only want to work with the board and think that's the only way. So you hear teachers say that as well. Think it.
And you also have a lack of support from people who are higher than us in SMT.
Correct. Yes, that is correct. Anything else, guys?
I just want to add one more thing that, okay, maybe sometimes a teacher would practice upon a new method of teaching, but then there would be inconsistency. So I think, then it doesn't follow through. Yeah.
100%. I think also sometimes we implement a new technology, for example, and we're trying a new system, just building on what you said, and then because of that, and because of the first time trying it out, working out all the kinks, we might find that you're falling then behind your syllabus, and then just trying to make up time in the end and complete that. Then we run through the end very quickly.
It seems like too much of work to just implement it.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and I think that might create, a fear of using it further in the future.
That's very true.
Yeah. I'm not sure on our time, how are we doing on our...
I suggest you got 2 or 3 minutes to finish up this.
Okay.
And then you got one more part. The last part is key insights. Can you see on the block on the left side? Can you see this here? So you from 5-2-ish. So what are the key insights that you gained from this? That's what you need to capture, right? You can do it now if you want to.
Okay, perfect. Before we just move on, I think they said we should appoint one person to just give our findings here, inshallah, if we can have some volunteers to do that.
Yeah, Mohammed, you the one who didn't say anything at all. I know who she is. We'll just allocate it to her.
Perfect, inshallah. Whoever that is, I'm not too sure on the name there.
If you don't find a Mohammed, it'll be you.
Okay, I think some of the key insights, if we can just sum up the end of this room here. Inshallah, from my side, if I can start, some of the key insights, we said that we have maybe the ATPs or the curriculum needs to be changed or relooked at, on our side, and then communicated with the relevant stakeholders. I think teachers are feeling overwhelmed with this new era, especially much older teachers. I think maybe with the newer teachers, they feeling okay with it, they comfortable, they just coming in. With regard to emotions, they feeling overwhelmed, overworked, overstressed might be. And then actions is a reluctance to actually take on the new technology or embrace the new age that we're facing. So if anyone else can. Any other insights that I obviously didn't mention or left some for you guys?
I don't know if I could add this.
Please do.
Maybe like supportive environments that also assist with experimenting with new technologies. So as a teacher, you don't feel you're all alone. So maybe
100%.
if like schools could give if you could have workshops, or even within the school, get other teachers involved. So for support, so that even as us older teachers, when we're using this technology, we feel confident when we go into the classroom.
Definitely. ICT training is very important.
Yeah.
I think maybe even just building on what you said, there is maybe implementation of an IT department or an IT person in the school, to help us with these resources, or to go into the class maybe with an older teacher to help them along this process. Anybody else? We have about a minute or two left.
Officially 3 minutes. Are you working on key insights, Mohammed? Are you summarizing now?
Yes.
What you're going to report back to the plenary?
Yes.
Okay. It may just be helpful, Mohammed, if you just start at the top again. One person just reads out those things on the top. Okay. And then if there's really pressing, you really want to shout out something, you can do that. So do one at a time, Mohammed, and then do that. You've got 2 minutes left, so 3 minutes left. Carry on.
Okay, perfect. So I think if I can I'm just trying to get the screen there. 1 second.
Does that make it larger for you, Mohammed?
No, I'm just trying to navigate my screen to see that box there. So if I can see under says, we have time constraints. Another comment there was the content for first additional language is exactly the same as the additional language. There is no difference in the language there. Not enough time to complete our syllabus there. I'm just having a little.
The third one, class something. I can't see what's written there.
Class disruptions that stop our teaching time. We spoke about that in what do we hear teachers say. So learners disrupting classes, maybe learners not buying into the whole concept of the new curriculum, for example, or the new technology. Then moving on to what might we be thinking. The curriculum's too rigid and there's little room for creativity. So we discussed under that sometimes the curriculum has been, or the ATP has been around for the same ATP for years. I don't know if some of you noticed that sometimes they're sending us the ATP, it's saying 2023 to 2024 and 2025, and the facilitator is like, no, we're using the same one, you know. I teach LO as well, and some of the activities there in LO, it's from 2015 or 2017. We're still using the same activities, you know. Moving on then, what might
2 minutes to go.
How am I going to complete the syllabus in such a short time? I think teachers are, we said, feeling the stress or the pressure to maybe, for example, emphasize certain concepts, or maybe find out or take the time to find out which sections a learner might be struggling with due to the pressure. Moving on, then we said teachers are not confident to use technology and find it difficult to implement. We said this is a lot of the time with older teachers that we find this happening. Or, for example, teachers not having the confidence, feeling that, you know what, it might not work, or I'm too scared to try a certain thing. And then emotions, we said teachers could feel overwhelmed, anxiety, frustration, burnout, nervousness. I think we have scared, not confident. And as we discussed previously, maybe this could be due to a lack of support, a lack of confidence that something might work, or maybe the know-how on how to do a certain thing. If we move on to does, what actions do we observe teachers doing a certain thing and not open to new ideas? They're stuck in their old ways, inconsistencies we might find. Maybe they're not willing to use newer technologies. Anything else, guys? I think we should have
30
about a minute
seconds.
left. 30 seconds before we end this.
Sounds good.
Anyone else?
No, I think it's fine from my side.
Jazakallah.
Okay, I'm going to bring everyone back into these rooms here. I'm going to message my team first.
Just to confirm, this is room 5?
G.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Just we're coming back to the plenary.
Okay.
We're moving everyone back into the plenary. Okay.
All right, guys, welcome back. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hop in between breakout rooms. That's something out of my control. But in the room that I was in, the energy was incredible. And I'd love for you guys to just share, your surprising insight that your group discovered based on your how might we sentence that you framed from your problem statement. What did you learn about your user? So if you can tell me who you identified as your user that you perhaps didn't fully appreciate before. So what was your key insight? And I'm looking for a little bit more than just they feel isolated here. I'm looking for a little bit more than that. I'm going to start off with the group that I was in. So I was in group 3, and Abdullah is going to share back some information very quickly. And then let's have, I hope you've all nominated a group representative to share that information back. So we'll jump into group 1, 2, 4, and 5 then. So let's go with Abdullah.
There's
a hand from
Khatija, yes.
I'm sorry. I think we got the brief a little wrong because we were asked to go back and write. So we weren't communicating much. We were writing. So we didn't have much of a conversation. Rather, we chose I think we got the brief wrong.
Okay, so it was a collaborative task.
Yeah.
Which room were you in?
Room 2.
Gino, dude.
Yeah.
I expected more from you, man.
Gino asked us to go back and write our thoughts. So we went back to write our thoughts now. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No worries. Maybe you can just quickly decide. Maybe you want to represent your group and just present a key finding that you came up with. But maybe have a think about that in the interim. And I'm going to ask Abdullah to just share back. Is that cool?
Perfect. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, awesome. Abdullah, you're up.
Okay, Jazakallah for the opportunity. So, first of all, I want to thank my team and Douglas for their valuable input that have us put together the small breakaway session. So, what do we hear them say? We were discussing about in schools having a problem with boys coming to school with two-lengths haircut, right? And what we heard them say was, why can't we have two-lengths haircut? What are two lengths of hair? Is there any guideline you can give us? This is not religiously significant. Parents don't want us to cut our hair, you know. And the other thing was, what might they be thinking? So some may feel their kid's hair is neat enough, right? Even if it breaks the rule, it's unnecessary. It's a waste of resources, and they are being picked on. It's an academic school. Why would you want to put so much effort into a haircut when you can be putting effort into us getting better results and so on? They also feel when it comes to their emotions, they feel that they are being targeted, they are being marginalized. This is old school, it's old-fashioned, it's outdated. They might be in our school that has this particular rule, and they might be meeting up with their friends for soccer and so on that don't have these other rules with the haircut, and that then heightens their emotions to say, we in a school and we have to abide by certain things, but the trends out there suggest something different. And obviously, what actions do we observe? They generally become rebellious, they withdraw, there's a lack of interest, there's a lot of questioning. And sometimes also the person that's enforcing the rule might be one of their subject teachers. And another hat that this person wears at school is that they're in charge of uniform. And then there's a communication break. There's no bridge between this child and the subject that he's particularly studying, even if he likes the subject, but he hates what the teacher is doing. So these are some of the findings that we came up with.
Powerful. And so that was your key insight, right? There was also something that you mentioned about decorum, right?
Yeah.
Your key insight was that they might, and maybe you can elaborate on that. I'm gonna, like I said, I was trying to be impartial in the room because I shouldn't have been there. But I'd just like you to share that very quickly about the different religions and what you found about the hair.
Okay, so the other thing is when we were working on this thing, another insight that came about is there are a few challenges that we might face. One of the challenges that we might face is, I'm just going to give two examples very quickly. What if we have a kid from a different background? Let's take this Rastafarian lifestyle, where they are required to grow long hair, right? And that's a religious practice for them, or any other religious practice. How do we then write up a policy that's inclusive with these people of other ethnic groups or other religious backgrounds, right? So that also requires us to be very respectful and to be very careful the way we craft our policies. Sometimes our policy is also not very clear, like I mentioned before. What is two-lengths haircut? Like what renders a two-lengths haircut? Like for me, if I just trim slightly on my sideburns, am I going to be penalized for something like that? And also we decided that to be respectful in our policies and to put the policy across to our stakeholders, which are the parents and the students themselves, that is not only about high standards of academic, but we're looking at holistic development. And a part of a holistic development of a child is teaching them decorum. And I like what Douglas mentioned, is he mentioned that we put these policies into place simply because we want to prepare them for something bigger, which is the outside world, where they walk into a corporate company as a lawyer, as a doctor. They're also not necessarily maybe your haircut, but something else might be a policy for your dress code. and that comes down to preparing students how to behave and how to understand and adopt different type of decorum in the different workplaces that you'll be introduced into after your school. And that will also be not like in school, your parents are paying fees. There, your decorum will also play a big role in how you get paid.
Thanks. Thanks for that.
So it's going to be opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Abdullah. Thank you so much. That's very valuable feedback then, and very important key insights, not just one, but a few that you mentioned there. I'm going to jump into room 1 now quickly and ask them, or at least I'm going to jump to room 1, not into, and ask the person who's nominated to talk to please unmute themselves and go ahead for your key insight.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning to everyone. I'm from room 1, and
hi, good day.
In our room, we were discussing, then a question was popped up, because I'm a maths teacher. I'm teaching grade 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the question was, why is it most of our learners are finding it very difficult to learn mathematics? So that was the foundation of our discussion.
And who did you identify as your user here in this instance?
These are our learners.
The learners, okay. And your key insight?
Yeah, so what we discovered was, it was also based on my experience that most of the learners are having language barriers, because we have, example, learners from India, learners from Pakistan, and some learners from even Ethiopia. So there's an issue of language barrier. So here you are teaching a concept in English, and the language is foreign to this child. So you hear them saying, you know what, this is too difficult. It's not the subject which is difficult. It's actually the language which is difficult for the child.
Aha, okay.
And because of that language, because of that language barrier, now the child is lost. You are talking about simultaneous equation, for example. Okay, what is simultaneous? So the child is trying to grasp what is simultaneous. So the moment you then introduce probably the equation, the next thing the child is going to say is, okay, where am I going to use all this? I don't understand. What is this? Where am I going to use it? So we hear them saying such things.
Right.
Then because they've got so many gaps from the previous lesson, because you as a teacher, when you come to the lesson, you come with assumed knowledge that, you know what, my learners are expected to know this concept. But because of language barriers, they couldn't grasp it.
Right.
So you find them now saying, you know what, today we are too tired. So mentally they are tired because they're trying to grasp whatever you were trying to explain probably in the previous lesson.
And it's not for a lack, what you're saying, your key insight isn't for a lack of knowledge or lack of ability, but because of a lack of understanding due to the language barrier, right?
Yes, due to the language barrier, yes.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Kundani. That's awesome.
Okay, can I continue?
Very quickly, yes.
Okay. We also noticed that there are also issues like distractors. For example, vaping is now a problem. So you find that some of the learners, they might actually want to go to the bathroom, you know, probably they've hid their vape in the bathroom. They want to just have a quick vape. So that becomes a problem. So more often you hear them say, you know what, I want to go to the bathroom. That is a problem, especially for my classes. More often they want to go to the bathroom because of these distractions. Then we also have issues of learning barriers, for example. That's a big problem as well. One child might have ADHD, and that child wants to distract other learners so that the lesson doesn't go on.
Okay.
So these are some of the issues that we discussed.
Thanks, Kundani. Appreciate that. Okay, a couple of valuable key insights there. Group number 2, please, your speaker.
We haven't decided. Is everyone fine with me going for room 2?
Go for it, Khadija.
Okay. So ours basically, we had a different approach to ours, was that creating a better relationship between leaders and teachers. Because I think that scaffolds down into our relationship with our students. What we thought about here, our question of how might we create a better relationship between teachers and leaders, And some of the says was people feel that communication between leadership and teachers are not very clear or consistent. If you have a few leaders in a specific team or a school, the same message hasn't been passed through in the same way to different types of leaders, to different types of teachers. And then the thinking part of it was that leaders are not always seen as being understanding, towards their teachers, the workload, the administrative duties that teachers have, and they're more instructional than collaborative.
That's a problem.
That's the problem. It's more like we want to hand down or bark out orders rather than just collaborate and say, okay, this is because ultimately the children are the goal. Running of the school is the goal. Optimization of all our resources is the goal. But we can't achieve that if we have a disconnect between leaders and teachers. Because that's where we actually need to transmit the most efficient type of communication. And then the does is now the teachers are afraid out of, they do things out of fear rather than doing it for the benefit of the school. It's like, I have this deadline to meet, and if I don't, this person will meet me along the way, and I'll have an earful. So I'm doing it to tick a box. I'm not doing it because it's something I enjoy, or I'm doing because for the benefit of the school and the learners. It's because it's my job, and I'll do it how you want it done, timelessly, and I will make sure I don't make mistakes, not because I want to be good at what I do. I want to do it so that I'm not reprimanded for doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And the feel is, what happens is you're going to get burnout from teachers. And the level of frustration where, I have this deadline. I'd rather just not be at school today. I'd rather not face that person. I'd rather not have a discussion because that person doesn't have an attentive ear. So I would rather just avoid them. So
the key insight here is that
the breakdown
teachers feel isolated. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah. I think that's the crux of what I would feel. I'm so sorry to my team in room 2 because we weren't able to speak about it as much. I'm trying to represent as much as I could.
That's fine.
But inshallah, the next one we will be more.
Okay, I think that is well done. Your team is saying well said, so I think they appreciate you.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. Great stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that, Khatija. Our next group was group 4, who needs to share back. So can you just unmute and go ahead?
Assalamu alaikum. Our user area was the learners, and the general topic was the lack of learning culture in learners, and the key point that we took out, the insight, was that we find that our learners show general apathy towards general knowledge and needing to know more. And from that, we discussed what do they say. So when it comes to what they say, you'll find that they will say, I don't need to do this. Why do I need to do this? I do not have any interest in this. And this leads to what they think. And you see the general thinking process with regards to this is, do I really need to do this? I could be doing something better. And can I find something else to do? Am I wasting my time? And then the emotions and the feelings that they will show will be obviously a general feelings of boredom, irritation, apprehension, and some may think that why isn't the subject more engaging, more fun? And this obviously lead to what the children do, and that is you'll find that you will have disruption, disrespect, lack of interest, having problems in the classroom, and this is what it will translate into if they feel that about knowledge and education in general.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. And then the last group was group 5. You can just unmute yourself. Thank you, Mohammed.
So our issue that we discussed was how we can improve or redesign the curriculum and introduce new technology or methods of using technology in the classroom in order to create new approaches to teaching and learning. Our focus or our participants were the teachers themselves. And when we looked at what do teachers say about a certain topic, we found that with regard to curriculum, there were many time constraints that teachers felt. The curriculum was outdated on the side of department, and it was not time appropriate for teachers. We also found with regard to the use of technology, many teachers noted the negatives of technology. Teachers said that they might not have support from the school side or the know-how on how to use the certain types of technology. When we looked at what the teachers might be thinking about, the teachers were thinking that the curriculum might be too rigid. Sometimes curriculum was outdated, or for example, in language, you had your first additional language and your home language pretty much the same, not much difference between the two. We also looked at teachers not being confident enough to use technology. Sometimes we found that maybe older teachers who were in the profession for a long time were having or feeling very overwhelmed, not confident to use a certain sort of technology or a certain type of curriculum because they set in their ways. They wanted to carry on with that traditional type of teaching that they used to. When it came to emotions, certain teachers were feeling they were not confident, they were overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, or scared. And with regard to what the teachers did thereafter, we found that when maybe newer teachers or ideas were put forward, there was a reluctance to change the curriculum or a reluctance to introduce new methods of teaching, new ways, new technologies. Many teachers felt that they either didn't know how, there was no support on the side of IT, for example. Maybe they struggled with certain things. And another thing was that we discussed also was that sometimes we try and introduce a certain technology or method. And because we're still trying to work out the kinks or the problems with that method, we found that it would constrain time, for example, because you were using a lot of time to get the thing in, and then afterwards you were dropping it and then trying to make up for time. And this was demotivating for certain teachers, and then they were thereafter unwilling to carry on using these methods. I think this was the crux. I hope I've done justice to the answers that my
Powerful.
colleagues have given.
Powerful stuff. I love how you hop between different sections as well. So this is what they do, and then you hop back to how they feel, and it's so intertwined actually, the empathy map. But yeah, you've managed to empathize with the teachers here in this instance. Thanks, Mohammed. It's powerful stuff. We're going to move on now. Thanks, guys. That's all the groups. I see a lot of you discussed your ideas. You managed to empathize very well. We're going to hop into a 2-minute break now. It's going to, unfortunately, not be 10 minutes, but we're going to have a little 2-minute break. Yeah, maybe we return at 11:23. If you don't mind, you can run to the loo very quickly, or
Make it 25.
just
Make it
stretch
25,
quickly.
Shazia. Make it 25.
Should we make it 11:25? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay. So Mr. Hussein has argued in your favor. 11:25 then, I guess. That's 4 minutes. I'll see you in a bit.
Well, Shazia. It's going well.
Oh, thanks. You too. Appreciate it.
Yeah. 25, Shazia, we can start.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I want you all to just watch this video while you're sipping your coffee or drinking your tea. And just very quickly, just so we know what we're looking at, this is a little video on the Scamper model that's used for ideation. And that's what we're going to we're going to go into the breakout rooms in a minute, once we're done with this video, and I'll explain what you're going to do in there. But this is basically a method for quick ideation. So it's there to actually help you ideate, come up with ideas to solve the problems. Remember, we're going to frame this around your how-to statements or how might we statements that we framed in the beginning of the session. So you're going to have that at the back of your mind, and then how you incorporate the Scamper model into that. So it's just, this is a video just showing you what the Scamper method is about. And then you can kind of fit that into your own how might we statement.
Sharing? Are you sharing?
Yes. Sorry, yes.
No, we
Oh,
don't
is
see
it
anything.
not showing?
Yeah, we're not sharing.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, I think we will. Sorry, did I not share with sound? I think I forgot to share with sound again. Just give me a second.
Didn't share anything at all. Okay.
There we go. Okay, third time lucky.
Breaking down Scamper with examples. Substitute. Question to ask. What can I replace to make things better? Example. In photography, the substitution of a traditional background with a green screen allows for easy post-production manipulation.
Sorry, yes?
What was the comment?
It hasn't started from the it hasn't started from the beginning.
No, I don't want it to start from the beginning.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So it's just, this is just a video explaining what each of the different letters in the acronym Scamper stand for. It's a method used for ideation, as explained. So you can just watch it. I don't want to. Maybe we just rewind a little bit. Okay, so we start with substitution, and that's S, right, for Scamper.
Of a traditional background with a green screen allows for easy post-production manipulation. Combine. Question to ask. How can I combine multiple elements to create a more effective solution? Example. The smartphone is a stellar example of combining a phone, a camera, and a mini computer into one device. Adapt. Question to ask. What can I adapt or borrow from another field to improve my project? Example. The concept of assembly lines was adapted by the automotive industry from the practices used in meatpacking plants. Modify/magnify/minify. Question to ask. What can be added, enhanced, or reduced? Example. The basic design of a bicycle can be modified by adding an electric motor to create an e-bike, thus magnifying its utility. Put to other uses. Question to ask. How can this be put to other uses? Example. Baking soda, initially used for baking, has been put to various other uses, including as a cleaning agent and odor neutralizer. Eliminate? Question to ask. What can I remove without sacrificing functionality? Example. The elimination of physical keyboards from smartphones paved the way for more screen space. Reverse rearrange. Question to ask. What if I did it the other way around? Example. The flipped classroom model reverses traditional teaching. Instead of lectures occurring in class and homework done at home, the opposite happens. Practical application of Scamper in various fields. Business. In product development, Scamper can help teams identify novel features or even entirely new products. Education. Teachers can use Scamper to encourage critical thinking and problem-solving skills among students. Personal development. From revamping your daily routine to improving your diet, Scamper can serve as a personal brainstorming session. The Scamper method is an accessible yet powerful toolkit for unleashing creativity. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking for the next big idea, a teacher aiming to inspire, or anyone seeking to bring a fresh perspective to their work, Scamper can be your go-to strategy. Thank you so much for tuning in, studying.
Sorry. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so now we have a very well-defined problem. We've got deep empathy already through the empathy map. And now it's time to ideate. So you're about to break out into your breakout rooms again. So I hope you remember which room you were in. But I'm just going to quickly explain the rules. So for ideation, you need to defer judgment. So there's no buts, no, we've tried that already. There are no bad ideas here. Okay, so you're going to go for quantity. The best way to get a great idea is to get lots of ideas. Quantity, okay, not quality. Don't worry too much about quality at this point. It's just ideation. Build on the ideas of others. So I want you to use this yes and mantra. Okay, so you yes and. So yes and continue. Fill that in. Encourage wild ideas. Okay, so these often spark the most practical solutions to problems. So you basically, through this, giving yourself permission and maybe your team, okay, your team of educators permission to think differently. And so I thought I'd just give you some ideas quickly about how you can fill in the Scamper map. So this is what you're going to see in your whiteboard. And there are two parts here when you get your link. There's part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is just 10 minutes. You're going to spend 10 minutes on that. And then part 2 is your prototype. I would actually like you to spend 5 minutes, please, on part 1. Okay, 10 minutes is a little bit extreme. 5 minutes on ideas. So very quickly, 5 minutes. And then your prototype, maybe instead of 20 minutes, we can make it 10 minutes, because I think we've all kind of defined our problem well enough now to be able to prototype a good idea off of the ideas that we come off of already in the ideation phase. So an example for substitute could, in your context, you know, I don't know, maybe substitute individual work that you might have for students to family involved tasks, you know, something like that. Substitute maybe a pen and paper diary for a shared digital platform like Canva, whiteboard that we've been using today, for example. Okay, so there's some substitution options. Combine. Now, remember, you're considering also your how might we statement here, your problem that you're trying to solve. Okay, so combine is the next section here. So that's this one here. Maybe you want to do multi or cross-disciplinary projects with other, you know, in your school. So you could combine, for example, math and art homework together to create a geometric art piece. You could combine homework with physical activity. Okay, so like learning spelling words while jumping the rope or something like that, right? Like playing jump rope. Or hopscotch or something, I don't know. So you're just going to come up with ideas here, then adapt. The ideas I had were have kind of like a choice board model. So students choose from a menu of different homework options. So this is what you have to do for homework, but this is how you can do it, and give them a selection of kind of like a almost like a bento box of options, you know, where they can do either compile a video or create a PowerPoint presentation, or you know, give them more options. That could also be an idea for adapting. Modify, you know, I can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to give you all my ideas now. I want you guys to come up with your own ideas. Okay, maybe have a, for example, for modify, give them a time limit for their homework and say you have to focus for 15 minutes. And this is what you need to accomplish in that time. And you bring it back to school tomorrow and we see what you've done. And that's maybe an idea for reluctant learners, because they often don't like spending such a long time on their homework, for example. They don't like thinking of homework as, you know, they for them it's infinite. You know, they just don't want to even open their books. But if you give them a strict controlled time limit, then it could help them, you know. I'm not going to sell my ideas here by any means, but I want you guys to come up with your own. And the idea is you don't need to fill out each individual you know, space on the whiteboard here under each of these letters in the acronym SCAMPER. You can, for example, have 5 ideas for adapting. Or whatever you come up with within 5 minutes is what you put on there. And so it's every person, please, needs to participate in this. You guys can please talk in your rooms, in your breakout sessions, talk amongst yourselves, and just add notes to whichever. If one person adds maybe 2 ideas in 5 minutes, it's wholly, you know, doable, then you're going to end up with a bunch of ideas by the end of that. You know, multiply that by however many people in your group, and that's going to be enough, you know. And then from that you can go on and prototype, and there you're going to spend just 10 minutes just prototyping your idea. So you're going to go out for now. I'm going to give you, it's now 11:37, so let's say 15 minutes. So at 5 to 12, if we can please reconvene. So you can please put them in the, please join your breakout room. It should be appearing on Teams at the moment. Click on your breakout room and join that again. Thank you.
Are you ready, Shazia?
Yes, please, if you can go ahead.
So just to be clear again, this time you get to choose, so you get to choose which room you go to, but select the room that you were in the first time. Group 5, you got no room, so you're going to stay on this particular chat. And Shazia, are we using the same Canva link like before?
Correct. You're going to go to page 2 now, please. So page 2. Yeah.
Okay, fixed up, right. I'm going to set up the thing now.
And if you're not sure how to navigate the pages, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner of your breakout, of your Canva whiteboard, then you'll see an option for pages. Click on that and then you can navigate to page 2.
Thank you. Right. Starting. Assigning rooms. You guys can select your own rooms, guys. You can start now, select your own rooms, but go to the rooms you were last time. Okay. I got no one in room 3. Okay, room 3, room 4. Room 4, no one is joined room 4 yet.
Seeing it pops up here.
It should show you on your screen, room 4. I've got people in room 1, 2, and 3. Room 4. Jason, are you in room 4 already, Jason?
Yeah, someone's in there now. Hansa.
No, no one in room 4 yet.
Mohammed Saleh Hansa looks like he's in room 4, but he's the only one. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not seeing it on my screen.
You're not seeing what way you can select?
Yes.
What room? Name and room you were in the last time?
Room 4.
What's your name?
Jason Mustaqim.
You were in room 4. Okay,
yes.
I'm doing that now. Yeah. Anyone else not in their rooms yet? They need help quickly.
Yeah. I can't seem to join into my room. I was in room 1.
What room are you? What name and room number?
Gundani, room 1.
I'm not sure why it's not doing it automatically. Right, next one. Just call it out, guys. I can't read the screen.
Okay,
Give me the name.
Fozia, room 4, please.
Fozia
Hussein.
Bacchus, room 4. Yeah, okay. Next one.
Portia, room 1.
Room 2.
Sorry, give me a name.
Portia, room 1.
Portia, room 1.
Portia, room 1. Yeah, okay. Going through. We may need to add another 2 minutes to the time, Shazia. All right, next one. Who has it? Who's not in yet?
Surya, room 2.
Suraya, surname Suraya? Oh, yeah, Suraya Hanif. Right, okay, room 2. Okay, I got you. Right, next one.
I think that's it.
And
Everybody's in.
else? Everyone in? Okay. One more. Okay. Right. If everyone is in, the guys that are in group 1, group 5, Mohammed, pass it on to somebody else this time. Let somebody else do the discussion this time, right?
Tasneem, I think, inshallah, you can take over.
Somebody just take it up. Pass on the baton. Somebody else must take it up.
I see I can't hop into rooms here, Hussein, so I'm going to try that out today.
Okay.
Now.
Fozia Bacchus is not going through.
Gina, can you hear me?
Right. Who's leading this group 5? Who's leading group 5?
I don't know. Any volunteers here? They
No,
can
I'm
take
going
over.
to select if nobody selects.
You can go
All
ahead,
right.
inshallah.
All right. Bibi Aisha Mayed Karolia. Thank you. Please lead this group.
Hussein, I don't see the whiteboard on my screen.
The link I sent the previous time, but I'll find it for you again.
Perfect. I'll just scroll up.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. So back to what we were. So we need to have ideas. There's no bad ideas, guys. So what are our ideas? I'm just trying to find.
Sorry, I am in room 2, but I still have the previous board on.
Yeah, go to page 2 of that.
I am on page 2 at the bottom on the right-hand side. I click go to page 2, it still shows the same.
Okay, let Gino lead you through that. He's facilitating room 2.
Maybe just share your screen so that we can see what you're seeing, and then we can assist. Is that possible?
Okay, there we go. I'm in it. Thank you.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I saw it now. Thanks.
Shazia, just share with me a group 5's link again, please. I seem to have lost it. Or you sent it to me by WhatsApp, am I right?
No, I sent it on Teams.
Hussein, Jazakallah, I found the link. I don't know if anybody else.
Just post the link for everyone here again on the chat so everyone can link on it. Thank you.
Okay. So guys, we had our empathy, what is it called? An empathy map done. Let us go with ideas. There are no bad ideas. So what are our ideas to overcome what we came across?
It's in the chat, the link to the whiteboard for group 5. Sorry. All right, I'm going to go hop into other rooms in the meantime to see if they... Okay.
Nadima, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to ask you guys. I am on the thing, the second board, second page. Is that the one with the substitute scamper I see in front of me? Are we all on the same page?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Right. So, so we need to have something for substitute, or we're starting with the substitute.
Are we trying with the ideas? Are we going with the ideas thing? So we need to maybe just ideas into
you are right. Ideas.
Substitute, combine, adapt, modify, magnify, put to other users, eliminate, reverse, rearrange. Is that what it was? This campus standing for.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's correct.
Yeah. But now I think there was one where they said we first have to give all the ideas. Is it for the scamper?
Okay, let's go with ideas. And then we can obviously try, and whoever's on the whiteboard, they can kind of just put it into where it will fit in, right? So let's go with ideas. So we
Yeah,
had
sorry. Before you go further, everyone should be on page 2, so you can type your own ideas, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And basically, the idea is whatever your idea is, so you're not putting ideas here. You're putting what's the substitute for that idea? How do you combine your idea with something else? How do you adapt your idea? So the bicycle example that you gave, put a motor and then make it run automatically. So you take your original idea and then you
Yeah.
scamper it across the road. That's what you do. Okay.
Okay, and then
Okay,
this is
but we
wait.
must, sorry,
No,
can
no,
I
that's
just
fine.
get clarity?
Please.
We need to base it on our that we had previously. How might
Correct.
we create a better relationship between
Correct.
teachers and leaders?
Correct.
So we have to focus on that.
Correct.
No,
that wasn't our question.
That
Sorry.
wasn't our question. Our question was how to improve improve technology? Yeah,
Using
how
how
might
to
we
improve
improve the design
curriculum
yeah.
and innovate
Yes.
technology.
No, because I'm in room 2.
No, you're in the wrong group, ma. What are your name? Okay, your name? Your name? Your name, ma? Who's in room 2? What's your name? Okay, she's gone.
No.
Okay, let's carry on, guys. Okay, carry on.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
I don't know what happened there.
So basically, we're going back to the technology. How are we going to substitute implementing the new ideas and new technology ideas on that? But do we have to put it on the substitute and combine? Because what were our ideas? I'm a bit stuck on that one.
So I think what they're trying to ask is our previous problem, how we can work to now solve that by substituting, for example, in curriculum, what can we substitute maybe to better or the certain methods of teaching, to substitute that.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, before you guys go further, sorry, man. I'm sorry, forgive
Are
me.
we going after?
Muhammad Kwanga, are you on this group? You should be in another room. And Nadima, you should be in another room. Are you both on this group? Muhammad Kwangwa and Nadima.
I am in room 2.
I'm not sure because I was disconnected, then I came in.
Yeah,
That's
what
why
room are you in, Mohammed? What
I'm
room are
not
you in
even.
before?
I'm not even sure which room I am.
No, come on, man.
Because
In the
I was
first
out.
group, who was your presenter? Kim or Jason or Douglas or Gino?
Yeah, it was Douglas.
Okay, I'm putting you in room 3. Thank you. Right, and then Nadima.
Yeah. I am in room 2. I was with Gino, and Gino is on here.
Okay, so here.
Okay.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening, but
I
let me
think
move
there's some
Nadima.
confusion because room 2 we didn't even have technology. We had how might we create a better relationship between teachers and leaders.
No,
That was our group.
I'm moving you to room 2 now. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. We're all back on now. Okay. All right. Let's get back on now. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, Mark. Okay, so I've got somebody got they changed traditional methods of teaching for more technological something. So those are substitutes, and then combining.
So if I can just say, if you can combine your traditional methods for with your technological methods. So for example, to use textbooks and then at the same time, use maybe this Canva board with that.
You know what I like is an idea. When you have to do corrections, if we could just put our corrections on the projector. Where in old school we had a projector that would shine out the lamp. If we could prepare our corrections, for instance, on that and then shine it out, it would somehow, but like obviously now with using the new smart technology of whatever it is, we could somehow get the teachers that are struggling to use technology to start off with small steps like that. So they prepare a Word document with their corrections, they put it onto their smart board. It's small steps that might get them to enjoy technology. It needs to be small steps where they can feel, okay, you know what, I can do this at some point. Because one of our things were that they were scared to use technology. So maybe small steps. Like I always say, let's go back to Paint, let's go back to Microsoft Word, where things were simple. And then we can get them into the more difficult things. I don't know if I'm going along the right way there.
We have 5 minutes left, guys. Just a heads up.
Maybe we could combine like teacher expertise. So, for example, if there's somebody that's good at the technology, and then there's somebody that's struggled, so we could combine their expertise in co-planning lessons and team teaching.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I like
Yes,
that
and
idea.
just adding on to what you just said, you know, you have that two-teacher method. For example, two teachers in the class at the same time. So, for example, combining, as you spoke about your expertise. So, if someone, maybe an older teacher who we discussed, might be reluctant to use technology, if we put a younger teacher or maybe someone who's good at their IT to handle the IT side, while the older teacher, you know, carries on with the explanation of the lesson, then you get the experience of the you get the older teacher's experience, and then the learners can enjoy the technology as well.
That's a good idea. I like combining teachers. I like the but like, can we get our teacher, our ICT teacher, or what do you want to call it, the ITT professional teacher? Can we get them to start pushing our older teachers? Not pushing, but like nudging them into the direction of technology. Because what ends up happening is we get our stronger teachers, which end up doing the work for the little, I can't say weaker ones, but the ones that are now obviously technologically challenged. So, like, maybe in the adapting, sometimes maybe get your IT professional teacher, we can call it that, to let the other teacher to just take over. Like, you know, small steps. I think small steps need to be taken.
I agree.
Okay. I don't know who's putting down notes there, but any other ideas, okay?
Are we on combine or are we on adapt now?
I think we should go on to adapt.
Okay.
Adapting lessons to adapting lessons for teachers to start getting into technology. Something along that line, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? The
Yes,
others
please.
just move on and fill in the other ones in the meantime. So somebody go to modify, somebody go to the. So don't have to speak it aloud. Just type it out for now because we've got 2 minutes left, literally, right?
Okay.
This is supposed to be a quick thingy. So just jump onto the next one, eliminate, reverse, whatever it is. Just go and type something appropriate on that one.
How many minutes do we have left?
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. But do we have
I'm trying to get an
extent.
I'm trying to get an extension, but work on 2 more minutes for now.
And the prototype section, do we need to do it now?
I think you do that next after that, if I'm not mistaken. Nah? Javed dropped out. Why is jumped?
No, there is audio for Farida. I think everybody's just putting in their ideas at the moment.
Shazia, where are you, Shazia? Can you hear us, Shazia? Where is Shazia?
Okay, guys, we've got quite a few ideas here. A lot of it is budding teaching, different variety of teaching methods, combining the old with the new. That's a nice one. Adapting new methods in methods of teaching, such as two-teacher classroom, perfect. Sorry, modify lesson spacing, right? Modify curriculum to take time constraints and technology into account. That's nice. Classroom tasks to gamify with repetitive tasks through the use of quizzes. Lovely. Use learner feedback. Make use of different types of assessments. Remember, we follow the steps. Therefore, we can eliminate things that are continuously repeated if needed. Eliminate rote learning. That's okay. remove the chalk and talk method, eliminate redundant and outdated concepts from the curriculum. Okay, lovely.
Okay, guys, you got 3 minutes to prototype, so find something to prototype. I'll get an extension of 2 minutes more, but 3 minutes to
Okay.
prototype.
Okay. Prototype. Sketch a simple drawing description. Make your low fidelity mockup to test in 20 minutes. It needs to take 20 minutes. Okay, guys, what do we have to prototype? What can we build quickly to try? Anybody?
An idea would be, with regard to technology, to use the hybrid teaching system. So that's to have your traditional teaching along with maybe using some type of a platform such as Moodle or one of these online platforms.
Okay, all right. We got hybrid teaching system. Right, what else?
I don't know if this would fit here, but since we were saying that, I think what did we mention about the curriculum, or I don't know if you mentioned something about being flexible in covering certain things in the curriculum. So I think earlier on we spoke about time as one of our
Right.
constraints. And I'm
Right.
thinking that maybe if we could be flexible in covering a syllabus, so decide, okay, maybe the ATP says we must take a certain amount of time on a certain section, but we feel we can do it in a lesser time to create more time for more innovative methods of teaching. I don't know
Okay.
if that would fit you.
Okay. So you mean some areas we spend a little bit more time on, so we could little less time on, so we could actually give areas that really need time,
Yeah,
extra
like being
time.
flexible
And
with the
yeah,
ATP.
flexible with the APT, right? Can we go back to you must know with our empathy map, we had something about our teachers, our older teachers that are struggling with technology. Can we have a prototype with that, regard to that? Maybe some
Targeted workshops.
yeah, but how about like peer, like where we mentioned it earlier, where we said we put like a IT, like a IT good teacher or somebody who's technologically disadvantaged or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, and then we kind of they kind of like work off each other. So as a older teacher that's maybe more experienced and wiser can advise the one that's technologically advanced, maybe because
Yeah.
they won't have as much experience as the other one. So
That's
like kind
correct.
of come to a middle ground, but I wouldn't know how to phrase that. I'm a math teacher after all.
Divided by 2.
I wouldn't say buddy teaching. No, it wouldn't be called buddy
Can we bring
teaching.
them back?
Teacher's assistant, maybe?
30
Is
seconds.
buddy mentoring, like a
Mentoring, yeah.
yeah, something of that sort.
Or maybe peer teaching?
Yeah,
Peer teaching, yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. So we got peer teaching, or budding teaching. I think it sounds more cooler. You know. All right.
Okay, Bibi Aisha, I think
Okay.
you'll have to make some notes on your own now. Everyone else is back, right?
Okay.
We are back.
Region team, I'm assuming everyone from your groups have left. Region team?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're back. Shazia, we're back at preliminary.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Okay, so you're now all innovators. Well, congratulations. In the chat, actually not in the chat, let's unmute ourselves very quickly. One group, I'm sure by now you will have nominated one person in the group to just share what your prototype idea was. Okay, based on the problem that you had, what you guys came up with. So whether it's very quickly, 2 or 3 words, new feedback system, okay, or student-led conferences. I want to hear your problem and then I want to hear your prototype. Thanks. Let's go. Breakout room 1, spokesperson, you're up.
Okay, thank you. We were looking at our problem whereby learners were having difficulties in our subject, which was maths. So we say, as a teacher, you can look at actually trending events to make it exciting for your learners. Issues coming from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You are integrating the real world into your teaching.
Nice.
So this brings about stimulation and excitement.
Nice.
We can also use gadgets in the classroom. to enhance the teaching. Probably you are showing how to teach a particular concept so they can use gadgets or tablets.
Okay.
You can also use games.
Okay, Gundani, I'm just
to
going to stop
stimulate-
you there because I see you going through all of your different ideas. I just want you to share the one that you picked that you're going to prototype, the executable one, the one that you're going to prototype when you get back on Monday, hopefully.
Okay, so the one we are going to prototype was working outside the classroom, whereby we take the learners out of the classroom. We use excursions, for example. This could be subject-based excursions, or we can encourage things like science expo or mental maths competitions, or they can actually visit venues where they can actually see where we can apply whatever they are learning in their curriculum in the real world, like construction of a bridge.
So you've mentioned a few. Which one are you going to choose to apply? Which is your prototype option?
It's excursions.
Excursions.
Outside the
Okay,
classroom.
cool. Okay, got you. Thanks,
So we take
Gundani.
learners out of the classroom.
Just to help Charles here,
Okay.
yeah. So you want one idea and one solution. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for a list. We're not
We
looking for
want
a
a
paragraph.
prototype,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Next one,
Thank you
group
so much.
two. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gundani. Okay, breakout room 2. What was your prototype idea that you're going to execute come Monday, hopefully?
Group 2.
Is it okay for me to speak? Is it okay? Group
Go
2?
ahead.
Okay. So our idea was that we have a breakdown in communication between leaders and teachers. Right?
So that's
we
the
want to build
problem.
a better, yes, that's the problem. We want to build a better relationship.
Okay.
So the idea is that the reason there is a problem is because lack of communication and teachers feel unheard.
So what's your prototype?
So my prototype is that we're going to create something online, a live document that teachers would feed into the problems they've had over a 2-week period. You have a group leader for a set of teachers that will collate all of the problems that they have over a 2-week period. Take the top 5 common problems that were experienced by a group of teachers, and that will be because now what we're trying to do is break away from formal meetings into discussions, and then at the discussion you will discuss the 5 most important things that were felt between all the teachers during that 2-week period.
Fantastic.
This would actually break away from people deviating from the topic at hand and going off at a meeting, and it will be more time effective in the sense that you'll be focusing on real problems faced by more than one teacher at the same time. So that's what we'd like to go forward to. Yeah,
that's lovely. I hope you manage to implement that on Monday. Breakout room 3. Thank you, Khatija. Breakout room 3. Who's up? Just unmute yourself.
Okay. We are doing the hair, the 2 lengths hair story. So anyway, we chose the life orientation. Sorry, we chose communication as being the problem. We need to communicate with learners, we need to communicate with parents, etc. And we're going to go the route of implementing it in our school subject like life orientation. That's adapting it basically and combining it with internal. Externally, we are going to do it with social media. So since every child is, most of them are interactive with social media and things like that, we're going to use that platform to create awareness and tell them basically create videos and posters and things like that where we teach the values prevailing and what are acceptable standards and what's not. So in a nutshell, basically, that's our way forward.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Okay, very practical. Next one. And that's group, was that group 5 now?
No, that was group 3.
That was group 3, so group 4 is up.
Group 4, we were discussing, the lack of interest in less important subjects. And we found that one of the...
Less important, yeah.
The so-called less important subject. And obviously the apathy of learners towards wanting to learn that subject. So we decided that we have to find a way to make that the material more inclusive and more fun for them. So our group thought of gamified learning. That was our prototype. And how we were going to do that was, we said, if you have an IT room at the school, or if you have any with devices that can help them in class, then we would allow them to use this via applications on the phone that deal with these subjects, and make the subject more fun for them. So even if they may find no need for it, but yet the information will be fun enough that they would be able to absorb something and learn from there, and actually benefit from the subject time, rather than just wasting it.
I love that. Very, very practical. I like how well thought out that is. Well done, Mohammed Saleh. Thanks for sharing that. I think also, just on that note of gamified learning, because this is something I particularly have a very, very keen interest on, and it's something I've looked into. We need to also caution ourselves against introducing gamified learning, not introducing, but utilizing gamified learning too much in the classroom, because what the findings are, if you look at all of the case studies since, is that often the learner's idea of learning is kind of becomes a little bit twisted, in the sense where, they need this constant dopamine hit in order to learn. And so we need to err against that and caution against that, because actually what we know as teachers and educators and heads of department is that learning isn't necessarily always an easy process. That students also need to understand, to some extent, that it does require a certain amount of they will feel that it is hard, it is difficult. They need to be in that space of uncertainty, and that's part of the learning process. So that's something we need to just be very mindful of when it comes to gamified learning, but definitely in the sense where we want to pique learners' interest and promote a subject or a topic. That's definitely a valuable tool to use as educators. Thanks. And our last group was group 5.
Second last group, group 4.
That was group 4, wasn't it? Yes, it was group 4. So group 5's up. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. So we had a problem where we wanted to, with this combining curriculum coverage with new technologies and new ideas and new teaching methods. But the solution we came up with was budding teaching. So we would pair a technologically savvy teacher with a not so technologically savvy teacher and have classes together and mentoring each other. So you must know our not so technologically savvy teacher would be a little bit older, a little bit wiser. I mean, with age comes wisdom. So obviously they would feed off each other in that sense. So one would teach technology and one would teach wisdom. I can't teach wisdom, but yeah, one would advise better on that. That was our idea.
I love the innocence with which that's said, although I know very tech savvy grandpas. So let's not
let's put everybody in that umbrella.
Everybody in the same boat, yeah. But I get what you're saying there. Yeah, good idea, good prototype. Are you gonna implement this as your HOD come Monday?
You know what? We can try. We can definitely try. Definitely.
I want you to kind of leave this session with something that you can practically apply in the classroom, that you see yourself actually applying in the classroom. And now I see am I still not sharing again?
Not sharing, yeah, not sharing.
No. So now this is our testing slide. Yes. So the final stage then is to test. So you take your prototype and you put it in front of the real users, whether it's teachers. Some of you identified your users as teachers, some as students. The mindset here is critical. You are not there to sell your solution. Okay? You are there to learn. So you need to ask questions like, what do you think this is? How would you use it? What would make this better? What's missing? Okay, and this feedback is going to be the fuel for your iterative process. So then you can go back to the ideate stage, or maybe you realize you defined the problem wrong and you need more empathy. Or however, that's why we say that it's a non-linear process. And this is the iterative cycle of improvement. And so with that, we're going to move quickly onto a practical exercise again, just for 5 minutes. You're going to fill in, I think it's page 9 of your workbook. If you go to page 9 very quickly, exercise 4, then you'll see there's a My 30-Day Action Plan template. And so you have your challenge, your empathy, your ideas, and a prototype, and now let's make a commitment. So this is your commitment. So your fine challenge, you're going to write your final how might we statement. Then your first step is, what is the very first thing you will do? So for example, this could be to interview 3 students or observe a class, whatever that is. Your first prototype, what small experiment will you run? Whether it's piloting the new meeting format with your HOD team, like someone mentioned the whiteboard idea with, whatever that is, with the teachers, what is your prototype that you're going to initiate? Whether it's gamified learning with using this app, be very specific, okay? And who am I going to collaborate with? So you're not going to be doing this alone, but who are you going to bring along? You need to be very specific here again about the names of the individuals that you're going to call in to help you solve this problem that you've identified. Whether it's a department, or whether it's that you want to collaborate with, or whatever it is, who are you going to bring along? Write their names down. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to fill that out now quickly. It's on page 9, please. And if you need more examples, you can look on page 8. It explains what to fill out in each of the boxes in a little more detail. So I've given you, I'll maybe just leave it on that slide for you here, so you can look at that and write in your book. You don't have to go back and forth. It's your ticket out of here and back to your school. Now I want you to make a real commitment. Specific dates, specific people, specific first steps.
Is that 3 minutes over, Shazia?
Yeah, they've got 1 more minute. I think by now everyone should be finished, but basically what I want you to take away from this is that your leadership matters. Okay, so I want you to make this count. It's imperative that you actually fill this out and leave with something practical. 1 more minute.
There you go. Thank you.
So before we wrap up, I have a real request for your help. As a presenter, I'm always looking to learn and improve. So your honest feedback on both the content and on my delivery would be incredibly valuable to me. The survey is completely anonymous, so you can be as candid as you like. And I appreciate constructive criticism if that's what you feel like doing. But yeah, your insights will directly help me become a better facilitator for you and for other future leaders. So please, if you can just scan the QR code here, then there's a little feedback. I'm using Mentimeter. This is something that you can also use in your capacity as HODs or in your classrooms to get feedback from your students. This is a great feedback tool also in your testing phase. If you would like to use it, it's free. So and I'm just going to share.
As soon as you've done that, I've posted the closing registration form and survey. So follow that link and fill that form. The two forms need to match each other. So if you didn't register in the first one and you're registering in the second one, it means you joined halfway or late. So you have to fill this closing register, please. Please do that now, the closing register.
Okay, so are they going to fill the closing register first? Maybe do that
No, they
first.
can do your they can do your
they can
mentee
do
thingy.
this?
They can do your
Okay.
mentee thingy. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. All right. Let's go. Okay, so here's the first question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate today's design thinking webinar overall? Putting myself on the spot here by sharing the screen. I want to say be kind, but I want you to be honest. Okay. So I see there are 11 people out of 16 who've logged in, who've scanned the QR code.
Maybe put a QR code back on Shazia.
So if you look at the top of the screen here, you can go to menti.com and then just use this code, 46470730. It will appear on every slide. So if you feel like you want to hop in and join quickly, then please go ahead and do that. Okay, thanks guys. All right, I'm hopping to the next question. In 1 or 2 words, what was your most valuable takeaway from today's session? So just a word, if you can, 1 or 2 of what you're going to take away, what you took away. What's the most valuable thing you took from today's session? About design thinking. This one is specifically about the topic design thinking. I'm glad you found it informative. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Empathy, collaborate. Very nice. I like that. Lots of empathy. Ideas of others. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, design thinking is a human-centered approach, so it's central to, the philosophy is central. The next one. How relevant was today's content to your role as a school leader? You can just click on those. And I see someone's popped onto the other Mentimeter from before. If you still have that open on your phone, there's another question on there. How do you now feel about tackling challenges? So I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison between how you felt in the beginning versus how you feel now. If you still have the Mentimeter open from the previous session, the first session, and you can, one person answered that with a huge confidence across the screen. Thanks. I'm so glad to see that you're very confident now. Fantastic. 11 people say very, very relevant. 6 say extremely relevant. Okay. Thanks. So the topic was design thinking and how you find that, or if you find that relevant to your role at the school. Next question. How would you rate the breakout room activities? Okay, 13 people have answered with 21 still on here. I see a lot of you say that there could have been slight timing adjustments. Did you feel like you didn't have time to finish sharing your thoughts in the breakout rooms?
Mhm.
Maybe you just enjoy talking. Can we ever have enough time? Come on, guys. Okay. All right, let's move on. How is the pace and timing of the 3-hour session? It's now 12:25, so we've jumped the gun a little bit by 25 minutes. I hope that's an indication, I think, of engagement more than anything else. So I think it's a good thing. Okay, so a lot of you, 5 of you, felt that you would like more time. Perfect pace, well balanced. Okay, so I'm assuming that 11 people want the session to be longer. You would sit here for longer than 3 hours if you could?
That is the one that we ran last year.
Yeah.
Also for many of the MCHs was a full day session.
Okay.
Nine till 4, but it was very much more detailed, huh? Very much more detailed, yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
activities, etc., etc.
Yeah. We definitely, this is just a nice overview, I think.
Correct. Yeah. A good introduction one, and yeah, it's good enough skills here. Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys. Let's go to the next one. What one word would best describe the presenter style or energy? This is directly related to me as your presenter today. I won't read out loud, although everyone can see.
Sure, energetic, sure.
Yeah, it looks like I'm very energetic. Thanks. I hope that's a compliment and not a backhanded one. Thank you. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate that. Okay. Going to move on to the next one, which is also about the presenter. One specific strength that I have and one constructive suggestion. You can be candid. If there's something that you think I can improve on, please make me aware so I can improve myself. Thanks. This is also in a way directly related to the testing, hey, for feedback. So this is where you listen. I'm not trying to sell you my idea. I'm here to learn, right? So it's that whole mindset of actually we're here to learn. We're all learning. I appreciate the compliments though. Thank you. Okay. While we're busy answering these questions and thinking about this, if you look at your workbook while we're waiting for everybody to provide answers to the feedback, you'll see on page 10 in your workbook, I've put together some resources here for you. So yeah, as leaders, when your teachers run design thinking projects, they don't need expensive software. They can leverage powerful and often free web applications. So I've listed a few tools for you that you can use at each stage of the design thinking process. And for empathy, tools like Padlet, for example, help gather user insights. Or like we use today, you can use tools like Canva, Whiteboard, and this works for ideation too. So remember back when we were busy brainstorming. I'm going to move on here to the next one. How confident do you feel about applying design thinking in your school after today's session? I hope that you all select very confident. Thank you. See, number 5. Thank you. Confidence levels. Okay.
Just qualify that also, Shazia, that you guys are not yet SMEs. You got a good basic grounding. And when next you have an issue to tackle in your school, when you're in your board meetings, in your principal, whatever meetings, you can then raise your hand to say, I know of this tool, design thinking, it can help us. And if you feel confident on your own, great. If you want to bring in the likes of a Shazia or an expert to come and do it, they'll charge, but it's well worth the effort if the problem is a sticky problem. Okay. So, I mean, so do go and do more reading on your own, etc., etc. It's certainly something that you all need to have a basic foundational skill on. But if you want to run it proper, maybe the first time bring in an expert in the field. It will just help you a lot more.
Thanks. Okay, so confidence levels are high there. How useful did you find the workbook that we put together for you, that I put together for you? I hope you take it home and use it. You are at home now, I guess, but you take it back to school and you use it.
I know of 2 people who didn't use the workbook. I know of 2 people who didn't use the workbook. Let's see how honest they are.
Okay.
There you go. At least there's honesty there.
There's one who didn't use it at all. Thanks. Thanks for your honesty.
Just quickly, I think the person who didn't use it is the one that I messaged that he didn't receive his copy. So yeah,
okay.
I don't think
So
it's a reflection on the book. I think it's just the admin.
So they are naughtier because they didn't email me. I kept on messaging on the group. If you didn't get the email, let me know. They're
Oh,
very
okay.
naughty.
Well,
Yeah, so they can.
I did
Yeah.
send his name to you, so please, please,
Okay.
please forward on to him.
I'll
Thank
do
you.
that. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Cool. And then this is important going forward. What topics would you like covered in future leadership webinars? If there's something that you've identified, as I understand you guys are doing, and Mr. Hussein can speak more about the course, but I know that you're going to have a few other topics that are going to be addressed. Is there anything specific that you would like to be covered as, something that you would find an interest in future leadership webinars? This is something that would greatly assist us, I think, in compiling the next session.
Communication.
I see some nice ones there. I think one thing that is, from last week's webinar and this week's webinar, what I've noticed is, what's become evident is that there seems to be a disconnect between teachers and managers, yeah. And I think that's what the communication might be about here. And not necessarily with regards to students. It might just be a top-down issue, hey? I think that needs to be addressed, certainly. Leadership styles, very nice.
Let's line round up if we can.
Okay. Okay, and the last one is, how likely are you to recommend this webinar to a colleague? Right, so in your resources, just very quickly, I mentioned that I used a lot of resources today that you can actually go, or I tried to use resources that you could then use throughout the different stages. So for empathy, I spoke about Padlet. There's also a Canva whiteboard like you used, but it also works for ideation as well. So to make brainstorming more dynamic or visual for your learners, this could be a nice idea. And then for prototyping, I don't know how many of you have been exposed to Tinkercad, but coming from a robotics background, AutoCAD, Tinkercad is a nice kind of diluted version of that for students to engage with, making things more practical, more tangible, as it were. And then also, if you're looking at designing apps and things like that, then Figma allows students to create, anything from a new school logo to maybe a mock-up of an app or whatever it is. And this makes the process scalable, I'd say, and probably also more, deeply engaging for each individual student. For feedback, like you saw, I find Mentimeter is probably one of the best tools out there to actually get live feedback and to engage with your learners better or more readily in the classroom. And there's also Google Forms for that as well. So thank you so much for your input. And I just want to end off by saying that, you are the architect. So, you guys as heads of department, look at what we've accomplished. Okay, now 3.5 hours, you have a plan, okay? And I hope that the hope is that you actually execute it, that you've taken a real challenge and move it through the powerful kind of human-centered process. Design thinking, it shouldn't just be a workshop. It's a leadership mindset. And in the beginning of the session, Mr. Hussein asked me, or Mr. Isuf asked me, what design thinking is, the best way to describe it. And I said a philosophy. It's how we move from being managers of a static system to being architects of something that is dynamic, okay, adaptive. And it's human centered. It's a deeply kind of human learning environment that you're working with when you're working with students in a school setting. So you now have the tools to lead that change. So as we close, I hope that you are able to take that one challenge that you've thought of and maybe others, and I hope that you ask yourself the question, which one of those challenges will you apply this design thinking philosophy to first? So yeah, you have, I guess that leaves us with the quote from Spider-Man. That's all that's left. When Uncle Ben tells Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So you guys have the power, and I hope you use it and embrace this design thinking philosophy. Thanks again for your incredible energy today. I know it's online and your cameras weren't on, but I still felt that you were very much engaged. So thank you for that. And the future of your schools will be brighter because of you. So have a fantastic and an innovative day. Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Shukran.
That's it from
Thank you,
me.
Shazia. Thank you, Shazia. Regent team,
Assalamu
please stay
alaikum.
on. Walaikum salam. Regent team, please stay on. Everyone else, if you haven't filled in the form, please do that and look at the last few posts that I posted there, and we'll talk again on Monday or Tuesday, inshallah. Everyone else can leave. Regent team, stay on. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Assalamu alaikum. Salam.
Salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Right, everyone left. Just the team left.
The team and me. I don't know if I'm meant to stay in this or if I should leave.
No, we're going to do another postmortem.
Postmortem, okay.
Okay, another postmortem. You can stop sharing, Shazia. Now there are two people extra here. Who's this? Farida. Is it still there? How did it do Farida? Rafiq, is it Rafiq and Farida? Thank you. You guys can leave. Mohammed Saleh, thank you. You can leave. Okay. Quick feedback.
We still have
Jason.
one.
Yeah, it's all right. They'll be bored by what you're saying. Jason has left. He's not on the group. Jason.
He's not yet.
Okay. Do you have any idea when he dropped out?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay, no problem. All right, so let's go quickly with a quick feedback. So again, Shazia, overall, very well done. I think it was a good interactive session, and all the tools were appropriate and useful, I think. And yeah, I mean, I've got really no complaints about how the session went. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks for having me.
Let's just have the others chat. Douglas, I'll start with you today.
Everything went well on my side, so I didn't encounter any issues. So I think it went smoothly. Yeah, I don't really have much to add to from last week's.
Okay. And Douglas, are you ready to run the session on your own on Monday with the students?
Yes, sir, I'm prepared. I've already spoken with Terry Lee.
Okay, no, this design thinking session, can you run it on Monday with a group of teachers?
Sure, I can, sir. Yeah.
Shazia will bring you in as the invigilator. You sit in the back with a clipboard and you can just rate him, right? Thanks, Shazia. All right, Kim, Gino.
My session was fine. They, as always, it's hard to get them to start talking. They were a little bit confused, so I think I explained the first session about 3 or 4 times. But eventually we got to
empathy
it.
map. Was that the empathy map?
Yeah, I don't know why, but I tried different ways of explaining. Eventually we got there. But but yeah, we did. That was pretty much it from my side.
Okay. I took your ideas on board from, I think it was Gino who suggested last week that we split the whiteboard into different pages, and and then I thought, okay, maybe I'll go a step further and just write the instructions on next to each map, and still they didn't understand. So I mean, that's like beyond me. I've done everything. So I could. Thanks, Kim.
So second session went super well, because so the issue I had with my group at the beginning, for the first like 2-3 minutes, I've been trying to get them to talk. So they were very, very quiet, and Khadija did help a lot, but it was a case of majority of them just didn't want to talk. And I think that's what also led to confusion in the end, because they were done with the empathy map, and then we were supposed to go into gathering insights, and then it was running out of time. So it was just a case of a little bit of a time thing, but it's also, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't have them talk about ideation. So it did take a bit of effort to get them going, but once they were going, they were good. In regards to the links, it was very helpful having the links at the beginning. And I think the issue that came with some of the people was, if we copied it straight from the email, we had a Mimecast message pop up for those who were sent to. So that's why I posted on the group that we just use the link from WhatsApp. So that was a quick fix. And then I think there was also, I've been having weird bugs on mine where I was put on hold every now and then. So I don't know what was happening there. And then I had an issue with one or two of my attendees. They kept leaving and rejoining the room, even though they were from the original room there.
Okay.
So I think
Just
there's some weird goblins.
That's a Teams issue, hey?
Yeah.
And it seems to be only your room though, because I know Hussein in the main session you had to send people back to Gino's room as well. Hey,
That's right. Yeah.
Popping out.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, right. Yeah.
It was just room 2. Strange.
Fantastic. Guys, if you guys want to give any private comments, you got Shazia's number. You can just directly DM her. Anything like suggestions, improvements, etc., etc. But Shazia, like I said, I am overall very happy, and thank you very much for that. We'll definitely come knocking on your door again for something else.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
and we'll meet soon. And please go for another cup of coffee to Cape Town campus when you're free.
Yeah, Kim and Gino were really awesome people. Thanks, guys, for embracing me.
When are you going to Durban, by the way? You're still planning to go to Durban?
Yeah, I'll fit that in probably, in November. I don't think October's out now, but definitely in November,
Fantastic. Okay, let me know when in advance, right? Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, everyone, guys.
And I just want to say thank you also, just very quickly. I know I've said thank you a few times, but just in person, thanks so much. Again, it might not be in 3D, but I really appreciate your assistance with the breakout rooms and stuff like that, guys. I know that it's you have much better things to do on a Saturday afternoon than assist the facilitator. So I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. You still have half of a Saturday left.
They've all earned
good luck for your
overtime.
future webinars.
No one's complaining. They all earn overtime.
Mr. Isaf, I hope we get to see each other. I hope you invite me to do another one soon, because it was I really did enjoy it. Thanks so much.
I'll talk to you about next week's session. Maybe you can be just a participant in next week's session, but we'll talk, okay?
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.